Well, we'll take a look at the map pool here in a minute as the picks and bans are in. Curious to see where the series is going to be going as the picks and bans will get locked in just a moment. LG going to kick things off with a ban on Haven, not entirely surprising, and we will see the ban bind from FaZe. That's the permas, makes perfect sense. It's the first pick that gets interesting. I think FaZe will go to Breeze. They just seem to like the map. Will we get it? We get split
Breeze
from
or
LG.
Fracture, perhaps. Fracture has looked very, very good for them, specifically for Baby Bay. That I think that's one that you can look
there you go.
very,
There's your Fracture
very good.
pick.
I'm glad that FaZe decided to go for Fracture. Like I said before, like I think if you are coming in and you are confident that you're the better team, you should be staying away from Breeze as a map overall.
Why?
Because it's a flip map. It's so wide open, right? The comps you play, you're usually running a jet and a chamber, so it's so much more about taking individual gunfights, putting yourself in fair fight situations.
It is.
Whereas in Fracture, it's all set pieces, right? You're gonna have Neon supported by Breach, by all these initiators to get you going. So by playing this map, it enables Baby Bay to just be a complete demon.
Yeah.
I love that.
I actually really like this pool right now for FaZe.
Yeah.
Not only do they get Fracture and Breeze in, they also get Split, which was a good-looking map for them yesterday. Honestly, they probably should have won Split. I mean, they go up 9-3, and then they just kind of drop out in the second half. I think in general, this pool plays very positively for FaZe, but we are going to throw things to a break. We'll see if that first map is going to work out for them or not as we kick things off. Again, it's FaZe and LG in an elimination match. We'll return in just a bit. And welcome back to the analyst desk as we're just about ready to jump into our very first map between LG and FaZe, an LG team who looked great during the group stages yet somehow ends up as the number 4 seed due to all of the happenstances of the groups towards the end where things got real close, three-way ties, everyone gets jumbled around. And then a FaZe team who was in the upper bracket had 9-3 advantages on every single map.
Looking great.
Yet still ends up here, and we're just about ready to jump into the agent select as well for map 1. Ender, I want to have faith in FaZe, but yesterday, it's hard not to think about it. I can't stop thinking about it.
Believe. FaZe still looking very good, very close matches between 100 Thieves who, don't forget, looking very, very strong in their own right. So for FaZe Clan, I want to see them come in, maintain a lot from what we saw previously, and look, I am perfectly happy to see FaZe continue to find these agents that just support a Neon so well. Raze, what am I talking about? Astra, Breach, and the KO2, like, this is signature FaZe stuff, whereas Luminosity continue to play high individual agency for their jet and their Raze
so
to fly
cool.
into sites.
I love that we get two separate squads going against each other in the agent comms.
Yeah, I mean, I think, swaps off Astra and plays towards the Omen this time around, not playing the Astra. Changes the way that the combinations could potentially work with Mata, but at least it gives them a flash. So they have a little bit more potential entry power, but I still am concerned when, again, we see what they've got going on the other side and just how well that can all come together, especially when Baby Bay is just vrooming around the map with Neon.
Look, it's just the LG style, right? Like, Omen can do a lot more on his own compared to an Astra pick. Astra has to slot in and support the rest of her team. So this is just how Luminosity want to play the game. It's been successful for them throughout the season. This does not surprise me by any means, and it's comfort for them.
Well, we do have our game ready. Our casters are standing by. We swap things over to the venerable Dust and Shift. Take it away.
He's adding syllables, bro. He's getting there. Whoa, why is he trying to hit me? Come back over here. Get back over here. Get back over here. Get back over here. Come here. Come here.
Oh, goodness. They're trying to do it to us here. But Venerable, I have to say, the SAT word play from Bach is looking really
1600
solid.
he did, yeah.
Yeah, it has to be. And I will say here as well, just kind of looking at the map selections, not bad for manipulation's sake for LG to kind of put a favorable first two maps on the board here for us, Dust.
You know, I might hesitate to agree there. I mean, LG, first of all, I don't like the lack of initiation on this comp, like with flashes, just not having them. I don't like it. Paranoia, yeah, kind of one, but not really. And Breach, we've just seen how powerful he can be on this map. And honestly, LG, they've been going 1-for-1 on this map their last 6 or 7 games. Like, it has not been consistent for them. And then FaZe looked hot early on against Honor Thieves yesterday, but couldn't close with the 9-3 lead. So it's a head scratcher. I don't think either team has been particularly, like, lighting the world on fire on this map recently is what I mean.
That's fair. And also just to kind of throw it into the mix, when they had played in the group stage, this map was not a part of the pool, so a unique look for both of these two teams in the head-to-head. But FaZe, taking some defensive aggression, has kept LG somewhat surprised and lit it over towards A, and it actually forces them up in towards vents. Really good stuff coming out with the Aftershock combination, and LG have been completely entrapped inside the middle of the map.
Yeah, the stun plus the aftershock in the vents. I mean, that is just running them through the blender at that point. FaZe on for a flawless, perhaps they can finish this one off. Tig trying to come through and actually catches him while blind, flying through the air. Baby, though, able to trade back with poise to get him into a 3v1 against Moose.
0 Point will catch out Moose, but there is still a little bit of time here to work with. Also has the ability, if he wants, a Ghost to pick it up, but decides to instead stay on the Frenzy. And the timing of this rotation will work out for a look over towards B. The biggest question will be, is Dicey going to get an angle to actually catch Moose on the drop? He would have to go pretty darn quickly here. It looks like, for the most part, FaZe are going to allow a plant to happen at B and play retake.
Not a bad call.
10 seconds left.
FaZe often does that, by the way. That's kind of their trademark style defensively, and why not? They are the best team in retakes in NA, statistically speaking, through the groups.
See if that pans out this time around. Moose on the ropes, has to go to the reload, and that will be the end of it. Dicey cleans things up, and good map control and presence, tempo, all the things you want to see from FaZe already established in round number 1.
Yeah, again, just to reiterate, you know, they come in with 49% retake success and often do play for the post plant defensively. And I mean, they've been rewarded for it with a lot of wins on defense side, playing that way. And, you know, I like it for multiple reasons. For one, it kind of lets you gather yourselves and kind of plan out how you're going to take things together. Yeah, maybe you're sacrificing a little bit of economy punishment by letting it get spiked down, but at the same time, you're also not giving them a chance to just like pick you off one by one and maybe throw the round away. So I think it's a good call from FaZe. You know, when you have those guys who are really good at getting first bloods, it's one of those things where you kind of get to use that in your favor on a retake when they get to just kind of go in there swinging and dictate the pace. So,
yeah,
don't mind that call in the 3-on-1, as we are going to see if they can, you know, build off of it.
Or picked up by Mata, challenged by Dicey's, but the shot with the Marshall just a touch off. So it's collected without any punish. And LG very responsive to the quick aggression from FaZe, going to pay some mind to the respect that, hey, it could happen again. But FaZe are going to be taking a more labored approach, just kind of clinically breaking down the middle of the map. Fast lane will go up. This is all about trying to get Baby through. And if the relay bolt comes out, Baby is just going to relocate and make sure that, mid-vents is not fully taken. Poised there for the crossing angle, and that will be good for first blood once again.
See what they were going for there. They were trying to trap with the grab well inside vents. However, LG is able to escape back down to the bottom of middle, but FaZe still collecting frags with the superior firepower across the map, so really no harm, no foul on that. Trademark destroyed. Aftershock, the immediate response there from Flya. Not going to get any damage with this slow to push down, allowing Baby to get back in position at stairwell. He's able to get the pick onto Moose. Dicey finds Tig, and this is pretty much it.
Yeah, just really good rotational timings here for FaZe early, just to establish some assistance and just make sure everyone's helping one another. It's good awareness. With that, of course, good communication to follow up and make sure everyone stays safe, except for Fly, who did fall in the opening engagement, but still, largely speaking, healthy as you'd like for FaZe.
Absolutely. And again, I feel like defense is where FaZe is going to need to get their rounds, and so this is great to see them get a good start. Their attacking side, they only got one round against 100 Thieves yesterday. And, you know, when you look kind of further back towards the beginning of the year with their old roster, they only had a few attacking rounds against Guard. So when they played against VCT quality teams, the attack has sometimes struggled in this match. So I feel like the big defense is kind of where they can build their confidence.
Yeah, I like that call.
There.
So we'll see what they can pull off here on the bonus. With LG full rifles, for the most part, being earned up. A couple of the players will lack a little bit of early utility, but for the most part, everything you'd want offensively to attack is going to be here. Boys holding on to a flash, and yeah, FaZe is ready to try to bait and switch this. Boombot comes out, flashes come through, but largely speaking, no contest will occur.
Yeah, you could tell they had the trap sprung and ready to fight if there was going to be a scrap at top middle, and that's a good call when you have Spectres. You're able to kind of force maybe a close range fight in that situation. You get the most value out of it, but kind of had to pull the plug on that. Now we see LG pivoting over towards A side. Some Asher Stars being put into place. Superman, if he triggers at the right time, it could be huge, but he gets caught before he really has a chance to make anything happen. That's a big entry for B-Dog.
High ground still in control, though, for FaZe. Looking to re-rack back around, and if they catch some timing here off the fast line, maybe there's a chance to isolate, but LG very aware of the play through ramps. Trades favoring the attack as the spike gets planted, and for Dicey and Flya, at least you're able to collect one rifle, but you're hitting this from the same direction. There is a stack here for LG. Fault line will come through that will only touch on Mata, and Dicey, as he throws the shoulder, will very quickly realize that he's not going to get the benefit of an opening first engagement. Moose there to challenge B-Dog to finish it off, and LG, they deny the bonus and get onto the board.
Indeed, they do. taking advantage of the bonus situation. And that's something I'm going to be kind of looking out for Luminosity on the attacking side, is that B-Dog, when you go first kills to first deaths, out of all duelists and flexes in NA Valorant, he's been the second highest at the conversion. You know, being able to get up there and do big things. I mean, he is number 3 in first blood success rate, number 5 in first bloods per round. So he's really good at that. The problem is no one else really is doing the same thing on the team. And they are the only playoff team to only have one player positive on first kills to first deaths. And so it's just heavily reliant on B-Dog creating those openings, man. And that's something that you can't really count on, I feel like, deep into this half now that weapons are out for FaZe.
Yeah, I think just to kind of re-hit on top of that in particular, you look back to the last time that these two teams had played, a lot of the success that B-Dog had was by way of the operator in those first kills. So we'll see if that's going to come in here. Not too often you see that on Split. First blood for Superman immediately countered, as LG will get foot on towards site. Not comfortable enough yet to set up for a plan, but the neural theft will give the information that you're looking for. Mata holding the close corner as the play through screens will be double hit by B-Dog as part of the picture. Relay bolt will connect, but it'll be the spike down at LG with the numbers.
Indeed, and I think Fly has spotted the leg of Mata there, so we'll be able to throw out some utility and keep Mata pinned along Baby to swing out, but Mata still wins the fight anyway. I thought FaZe had some good team play there, but Mata survives through it all, and now Fly just has to kind of tuck tail between legs and skedaddle out of there. That's going to give LG the opportunity to tie this thing up right away at 2 apiece. Yeah, very well done from LG. Really good fighting over at screens and really good catch on Baby Bay to, you know, keep this one close and put the economy of FaZe in a tough spot.
And here's another little fun stat as we kind of dig into this series at large. I know you do. There's not a lot of big positives when you look at like the group stage overall for LG, save some of their life by moments. But for FaZe Clan, they were holding a 56% win rate in the groups when they were playing full versus full rounds. In their losses, though, in particular against LG, but also versus 100 Thieves yesterday, they slipped underneath 48%. So winning those full versus full rounds with good first blood engagements, I think is going to be a major key to victory for LG if they want to repeat the success they found versus FaZe in the group stage.
That's really been the story of FaZe, really all group stage long. It's been the Dicey and Baby Bay show, right? I mean, both of those guys are within the top 5 for first blood success rate and first bloods per round. I mean, it's kind of wild to think that you have 2 guys that are that good, and it really kind of plays to their aggressive play style. So, I mean, if you're going to play that type of scrappy, you know, in-your-face style of play, you need guys who are able to bang in those situations, and Dicey and Baby Bay has certainly been able to do that. Obviously, this round, going to be tough when you just have pistols. You can't really engage the same way early round that you want to. Kind of just have to play something gimmicky, as we are going to see this hit coming into B.
Oh, very quickly, Mata right into the face of Dicey's. He thought maybe there was an opportunity with how good Dicey's is to possibly get an early initiation trade, but not going to work out for him. And it will be poised on the other side of the map. Now just having to wonder what exactly do you do with the Frenzy in a 1v3.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Don't see him doing a whole heck of a lot. LG looking to secure the lead, and I was happy to see Mata really just get out scrapping that round. I mean, the guy is always had like a pretty solid ceiling, and when he's on the right agent, he's feeling it. He can have massive impact, and Raze is certainly that agent. I feel like when you see him have to flex to other kind of, you know, roles and such, he's not as impactful with the fragging. But when he's in it, man. I mean, he's a pretty steady player. Like, he is the sidekick that B-Dog needs if they're going to be successful this series. I mean, he's kind of hovers around like the top 15, I would say, in categories like ACS and ADR. So he's pretty up there, but I would just say he hasn't taken the same leap between Stage 1 and Stage 2 that B-Dog has. B-Dog has like really hit another level this stage, and you know, if Mata can kind of live up to that in the playoffs, I think that, you know, LG might be able to go toe-to-toe with FaZe here and keep their tournament life alive.
And it's not even, I think, just the comparison between Mata and B-Dog, but also Mata versus other flex duelists in North America right now, too. So, yeah, I think you put out a really good point. So, here we go.
Yeah, I mean,
do another full versus full
when
round.
You compare it the other way, I mean, Dicey and Baby Bay are 2 top 5 players statistically in the region.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But B-Dog doesn't have that same level of powerful sidekick. Like, don't get me wrong, Moose is pretty stable. You know, Mata does have the ceiling to go and contend. Even Tig has his pop-off moments, but it's just about putting it all together at the right time, because elimination's on the line here. You know, that is something that can't be understated, how important this game is. You know, for LG, they didn't even get a chance at the upper bracket. For FaZe, they, I mean, had so many chances to beat 100 Thieves yesterday and could not come up with it despite having a lead in every single game. And they need to shake that off, because this is important not only for this playoff bracket, but for LCQ standings.
Yeah. Very much so the case, as LG have worked their way through mid-mail. Last pack was there to deny the trademark, but FaZe is starting to rotate. Very aware of the possible threat that could be lurking in the vents. Nearby is Dicey with an operator to the right of this play for LG. Showstopper out. Oh, but how about the illusion on a Babybay? Still able to turn that into one elimination. Oh, Neon different just a little bit right there, but LG still turned things back to a 3v3, and honestly speaking, this is still not comfortable for LG. 30 seconds on the clock, and Poise is in a great spot to deny this hit.
Oh, what a great kill as well. Amada on the drop down, trying to flash, stay alive to buy more time, and more time bought. He buys under the frag. B-Dog eventually able to trade, but now it's a 2 versus 2. Time running low. Spike collected the plant, taking a dangerous position, but we see Superman's being very patient here, waiting for this. It catches him.
Tig had the information as Super had taken a couple of the shots at the barrier orb. So now it's just down to B-Dog. Rolling Thunder will miss, but you have to worry about the fact that you're getting isolated and pinched. There's the fault line that will likely do it. And you already mentioned FaZe on the retake. Super solid that time. Huge assistance out of Poise to get to on the site itself.
Yeah, Poise with a fantastic hold, and it's good to see some of these other guys pop off. Get that supporting cast, Babybay and Dicey, so they don't have to do all the heavy lifting, because that has happened in the past, if we're honest. But one thing I will say, as Superman, you know, obviously had a big kill there and back calls to help this retake along and combos with Fly to ultimately win this round. That is something I did notice yesterday that really made me a little bit more hopeful for FaZe, is Superman was having some big maps against 100 Thieves yesterday individually. And that is something that we saw him very capable of when he was on Rise earlier this year, but I felt like when he first came on the FaZe, he kind of struggled to find that same, like, steady performance that he was, you know, often credited for when he was on Rise. But yesterday, he kind of broke through, had a couple of big games. If he can keep that up, he could be that, you know, other added fragger that FaZe needs to be successful. And I mean, look at the frag distribution right now. 5 kills for Babybay, 4 for everyone else. I mean, they're all lighting up right now to keep this game close, 3-3.
That's exactly what you want if you're a FaZe clan fan after yesterday in particular, especially just being in such good commanding positions at the scoreboard, not being able to close out games. They'd be in a little bit of trouble. Fast lane will block vision, and then he'll just high gear it out. And now you start to turn over to Fly's direction. He's playing kind of forcefully so. A very passive angle as the entirety of LG are on the top. And okay, that's going to be the read. Barrier orb comes down. Dicey from inside the site gets an opener, plus gets back towards dirt. Good first blood 5v4 we go.
Yeah, really well done there. It doesn't linger around for far too long. I mean, Dicey's so good at being able to get the rendezvous at just the right time. He kind of is able to linger a little bit longer than maybe some other players feel comfortable doing, kind of like Cryocells as well, to get a little bit more, but then still be able to get the safety. And that sets up FaZe again for the retakes, which they're so strong at. Now they have an advantage to do this one.
No command will be spent. Astral Divide also a part of it, and that's a huge first pick for Babybay. But do they expect that Moose is also on the flank? He's got to go quickly, though, because his teammates are in trouble. And from this position up top, he may not be able to do all that much. No, it's just down to Moose now. It would have to be a 1v4 in technicality. The Astral Divide is still absolutely blocking his vision from the potential defuse, and Poise will make sure it's not even contested by getting the elimination. And it's FaZe Clan, another solid retake as they take their first lead.
Yeah, really well done there. Obviously, Dicey has to be given a lot of credit for the opening, and Moose almost had a sick time in there, but was just maybe a half second too late on the flank up heaven. He could have maybe blown that thing up, so a little bit unfortunate. But yeah, speak of Dicey, though, by the way, this is a guy that was on 100 Thieves, was a Jet main, kind of just an entry duelist, did pretty well for himself, but wound up being left out of future iterations of the team, was basically on like a 6-month hiatus to a degree, kind of waiting to see what his future would be as a player on a starting lineup. I think he filled in for the guard briefly. I think he also stood in for 100 Thieves, like one time they needed to sub because someone was like ill or had internet issues or something like that in a tournament.
Yeah, I remember this,
but just wasn't really around the scene steadily. Now he's come on the FaZe. He's shown the ability to play Sky to a high level when he first joined the team, and now he has really settled into this chamber role, one of the best in the region. And it's kind of cool to see that comeback story from Dicey as an individual. He's definitely been that added star that FaZe needed to be a more dangerous team alongside like the new leadership that they brought in, alongside, you know, re-implementing Flya off the bench to be that breach, to be that initiator, to help them through, that give them some utility to fight with. It's been fun to watch.
And I think just largely speaking, when you've got the ability to pull a quote-unquote flex into the mix here for FaZe, it allows you to pull off compositions that look like this, right? I mean, that's the other thing, is you're not just trusting that Babybay has to go pop on a solo duelist. He's going to get support now from the just general agent compositions that you're getting, especially with Flya being as good as he has been on the breach. So I think it's a really solid point again. LG going to get largely hit by the 0 point. Yeah, 4 members will be suppressed by this, and LG will show force and then immediately tuck tail and re-wrap back through their spawn.
Yeah, indeed. Not really finding what they were looking for there at A. Now we even see the mid-press coming from Baby Bay. Tig is playing sewers, though, kind of watching for this potential push. Baby Bay's not getting too crazy. He does have Flyer for support if he needs a fallback, and obviously with Neon's mobility, him being here isn't as dangerous as maybe some other agents would find themselves in. Also has this Astra Star to help cover his fallback. So there's a lot of things in place for him to play this way. And that's been the big thing that the devs talked about. It's a more evolved Smeek style where it's not just Baby Bay a loose cannon. He's got the support system around him to make plays like that. Just backs off, though. But it's just stalling LG's attack. They still have nothing.
Nothing. There's 0 room to work with. You don't know what is over towards B main, if anything at all. You have to re-clear mid, and now all of a sudden you're kind of forced to go back over towards A, and look at the prediction out of FaZe.
Yeah.
Baby Bay's already here. Fast lane if he needs to kind of break up this hit. And this is going to have to be as clean as we've ever seen from LG if you're going to get in and get a plan off.
Yeah, B-Dog needs to have that opening kill status come into play here with Mata. And you're running double duelists, you better be able to flash and dash in there and get something done.
Oh, goodness, and the Astra Star slowing things down with the vacuum being pulled in. Baby Bay for the double, eventually traded, but Dicey's just takes a good look at Tig before pulling the trigger, and Moose can do nothing but back out and try to save the rifle.
And again, this is why I don't like the idea of you deciding that you want to play double duelist on this map, and then you have no initiation to help them go forward.
Thank you, yes.
Like, yeah, you have a paranoia, and yeah, you have smokes to cover spots, you know, that make it to where you don't have to worry about certain chokes as you come into sight. You can kind of limit the angles you have to face, but you're not doing anything to make really anyone from FaZe uncomfortable on sight. So if they get the right read and they make the right rotation, you're not dislodging anyone from an angle or corner. They're able just to sit back here. They're not being phased by anything. I mean, yeah, sure, you can throw a paint shell to a certain spot. Yeah, when you have your ult, you can clear something with Showstopper, but, I mean, it's just not enough, in my opinion. And it shows in their results. They have not had steady success on this map.
Yep. I think especially from the offensive side, it just, how do you get in and then control afterwards with just smokes and walls? Definitely tough to expect. Dicey gets a second look at the hit coming through mid before rendezvousing away. Astra Stars will be replaced to try to help deal with this. Trademark also in the normal location you would expect it to be. LG aware of both of these.
Look,
and
a Flyer ready to go.
Already ready to set up Dicey for another opportunity with this operator. If they do hit their B tower, fault line will connect and LG will be stalled.
And Dicey had the option to take the angle there off the summit, decides to back off. You know, just kind of let him have it. B definitely a problem right now. Fly the only one defending, but now we see Baby Bay making that rotation to Stairwell, continuing to slow them down, that time with the Aftershock. Now here comes the relay bolt from Baby Bay. Again, they're just funneling them into mailroom. Burning clock, but now he steps out looking for a fight and lines up only one. That's a great trade for LG.
Now the flash to be here to delay Dicey right back into position, but LG have not hit this as of yet, so maybe a shadow of doubt starting to creep into the defensive minds of FaZe.
I like
LG have not. So yeah, they have not moved though. They're still looking to burst on towards site, and yeah, the defense is a little bit thinner because of it. Last fault line comes out, it does connect. Time is going to become a problem here, Dust.
Yeah.
23 seconds on the clock. You've got to get through Dicey. Wall's going to be the first thing up, but that's of course going to give away that the hit is coming. Can Flya stop this? Going to be smoked initially.
I love this.
And then he's going to stay alive. He's just delaying as long as humanly possible. This is working out great for FaZe.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, this just shows you the fine line between cutting noise to throw in doubt and then running the clock perhaps a little bit too low. And now it's another retake opportunity for FaZe on even numbers, and they have Tig on low HP. Now he's being healed, though, and FaZe still blocked off by some smokes, but they're about to start lining up here with some utility to try to get in here. But with Dicey having an operator, that does make this retake a little bit more difficult.
He's got the Headhunter if he wants it. There are 2 flashes available for Poise on the KO. Shot for Dicey. Gonna go through. Headhunter now in hand. He tries to spam through the dark cover. Tig just dancing with him as if they were partners for years. Oh, and Dicey still gets the win! Dazzle in the corner has to start to pop off as Dicey's the last one left. 1v2. Operator shot will connect. Time becoming a problem, but Dicey still connects with the shots to punish the round. LG will get the 4, but FaZe will feel like that's a marginal W with Dicey's 1v3 technically.
Yeah, I just wish LG would have hit the gas a little faster on B. Again, I like that they cut noise after their initial trade with Baby Bay inside B Heaven to, throw that doubt that maybe they could be transitioning back to middle and transitioning to an A split. But it almost came back to haunt them. Luckily, the barrier orb was there to block off Dicey. and they were able to efficiently handle Fly inside the site. You know, Fly did a good job finding Sanctuary in the Astra smoke and kind of buying time for rotations, and, you know, looked like he might be able to at least put up a decent enough hold, but in the end, LG trade their way into a 3-on-3 post plant and hold off the FaZe retake, so well done. Keeps the game close.
Maybe looking to get aggressive once more. This is the same setup that they had ran previously. Rebay Bull comes down, FaZe is going to force the gunfight, and it will get us to a very early 3v3.
And 2 more detected inside Ramen with that 0-point. Flash comes out from Poised, looking to continue to put this pressure on middle. We are going to see LG kind of use that smoke to their advantage to cross back to Sewers, though, to start threatening A position. Now we're getting the clear from Poised at middle, confirming that they have indeed left. Superman still has his utility here in front of him to buy time if he need be. Mata comes through, and he does get the entry.
Decent attempt was made by Supa, but Mata will still collect the kill and get forward. Neural Theft will scout out exactly how this defensive retake may start to form. Fly is still playing close over through screens. Mata does not get the full shoulder check onto him. Fault line will connect technically on the 2. Mata in a little bit of trouble here. That's well done. And now you've got the ability to get the Rolling Thunder into play. Tig popped up into the corner. Fly it for the double. Moose still affected, but he taps away to get the first. Can he shake off the status with the effects? It doesn't matter. A 1v2 for Moose and a Red Bull clutch for LG.
That is absurd that Moose was able to get both those frags while stunned. I thought they had foiled this round and thrown it away, considering they had main advantage on the post plant, but through the stun, Moose just doesn't care. Hits the headshot on the Poise.
Unreal.
For icing on the cake. That is bonkers. And that's the thing, like, Moose never really jumps off the page like a B-Dog does, but he is a steady performer for this team. He is top 10 in KD. He's like top 20 in ACS and ADR. So he's definitely up there. And he does give that team like a nice foundation to play off of. You know, you always know that he's going to get his and play his role well. And so as long as, you know, Mata and B-Dog are doing their thing and, you know, the leadership's going well, like Moose can provide you those moments like that. But wild how he did it. Let's be honest. You just can't ever expect him. I mean, if you're FaZe, you're probably just wondering, was he not stunned? Like, what was he not FaZe? Like, how has he done that? You know, I mean, great attempt from FaZe, by the way. I thought that ult secured it for him, but yeah, shout out to Moose. Big play.
And now FaZe on round 11 will be hurting financially with just Poise being able to afford any sort of a rifle, even just with light armor. So massive advantage here for LG to get to 6 first and maybe even find a 7-5 offensive half. How incredible would that be, considering that we just went off a whole tirade about how having no initiators kind of weakens up your initial approaches against this FaZe team.
To be fair, they have relied on some pretty crazy individual efforts to pull some of these through.
Absolutely.
I mean, and it came at the right time, too, because now FaZe's economy is in tatters. So that clutch from Moose could be worth 2 rounds, essentially. So we are seeing them kind of do a little bit of a feint at A and now hitting into B. They catch Superman off guard. Dicey, though, fearless, drops down to equalize. Back to a 4-on-4. He has an enemy above him. He realizes it, almost hits it. Now a res comes in 2, though, for LG. They are well set up.
Oh, this is looking really comfortable. 5v2 situation. Finger guns out for Baby Bay, but the overdrive would be hard-pressed to do too much, especially considering that there's still a Barrier Orb in play. Moose will finish it off. And it's a Prime Gaming flawless kind of a little asterisk next to it, the Resurrection coming out. And LG have an opportunity in this last round to possibly see a 7-5 offensive half.
Yeah, they very well could. And again, their attacks have been what the struggle has been in their losses throughout the course of this year in VCT, even going back to Stage 1. Like, you look at their loss to Evil Geniuses back in February. They only got 3 attacking rounds in that game. Only 5 against Xset in March, and only 3 against Optic.
Yeah,
just a week ago. Yeah, so I mean, the attack really has been their struggle when they've been unable to get wins, and so to see them do this is great.
Dog on the corner, denied. Bebe still gonna hold, spamming through, but trades still look decent for FaZe. They'll drop 1. Mata very much so hurt, and there is no ability to heal him as Dazzle was quick to fall.
Yeah, so FaZe getting themselves an edge here early with the 4-on-3. Moose has some space over towards Rance, and we're seeing Tick with the pressure on B. So again, good split pressure from LG, keeping FaZe guessing on where their intended target is. Spike, of course, we can see certainly still sitting outside A position, but now Moose is getting into Vince the backstab middle. Mata catches Flya, and this is getting pretty crazy.
From the shadows will get Tig on towards site. The spike is not here as of yet. The Superman is a little bit trapped. Made not make much of a difference. How does he get both in the face of a boom pot and a satchel? So now Moose again. I have no idea. But it's a 1v3 for Moose. Suppressed by the null command. And he's got some high ground to work with. Just comes down to the timing of, do you actually find these players over to your left? Sees the shoulder of Supa. Shots come out, but now time becomes a big opponent. As Moose still needs to collect the spike to try to extend this, and Dicey will deny.
Oh my God. Bro, just roll the beautiful bean footage of Superman there. I mean, that is incredible. And again, we saw hints that yesterday against 100 Thieves. We knew that he was capable from his Rise days, and now he rises to the occasion in this one to tie this thing up. This is just absurd. He gets both. Look at the pressure from the shadows. Has to worry about Tig. Then all of a sudden, he's getting hit by all this raised utility and just pops off anyway. I mean, what a way to tie this thing up.
Welcome back there, friends and family. A 6-6 half after some impressive rounds are strung together, mostly off heroic efforts from LG. FaZe able to salvage round 12 to keep us tied, and a pivotal pistol coming up here, Dust.
And again, this is FaZe's weak point. This is where they really struggled. I think they're only, what, like 35% pistol rate conversion. It's the worst in
real low.
VCT, so chance for LG to maybe use that to their advantage to try to take the slight lead, but oh boy.
Yeah, that
B-Dog ain't going anywhere after that.
Just concussed into place. Now the rest of the utility thrown in towards B as FaZe are quick to follow behind it, but there's a lot of sufficient damage coming out of LG. The paint shells almost took down 2, let alone the 1. So FaZe are going to stick for this plant, but LG have softened up the post plant already pretty considerably, at least in the health pools.
Absolutely, and they're all still fully healthy. And we'll see if LG are able to break through here. Smoke down to try to block an angle to isolate the backside of site. Great paranoia as well to take out Superman. And Poison. Mata builds off of that with Moose to get a pretty good trade.
Oh, but Supa denies the boombot and gets the right click off on the Tig. And all of a sudden flies over the top of the barrier orb. How has this all happened? It's just down to Moose. And the 1v2 comes out once again. Are you kidding me?
Dude, this game has been an absolute slugfest. I mean, that round epitomizes it with just how those fights broke down inside the site for that retake. I mean, you're at first thinking that, oh, this retake is going to be a cakewalk for LG with the help pool advantage and how they were able to get to the back of site the way that they did. But this barrier or boost situation for Flya gives him a chance to maybe combo for a 2-on-1 on Moose, but Moose does it again. Another big clutch for him to give LG the lead. Just when he thought the pistol curse was gone for FaZe, it comes right back at him. But here's the other thing FaZe like to do a lot. These aggressive second-round buys.
Yeah, we saw this a lot yesterday versus 100 Thieves. Pretty much every time they were on an attacking half and found at least 3 kills.
You know what we didn't see a lot from FaZe yesterday on this map?
Well, yeah,
attacking rounds. But hopefully they can change that here as they get the entry. B-Dog with the trade.
Oh, but Baby Bay in a little bit of trouble. Uses the high gear just to try to slip on the backside. And they don't expect that take. Has already gotten right back up into A tower. So now danger starts to occur for FaZe in 2v3 situation. Spike down up on top. Flash will come through. Flya able to clear out at least the initial ropes on Vent. But has to worry about the cam and also the defenders themselves.
And now he doesn't have any flashes left either. So utility really not available. Except for 1 star for Superman that I can tell. So they come down the raw fragging, and they are a man down for that. The cam again spots both players inside heaven. And now Dazzle will start slipping in behind and catches Fly in the back.
Really well done for Dazzle. Just to be a part of the play still. So now Supa, nope, nowhere to go. He's completely entrapped and bold for FaZe initially. They had no idea what that initial spy camp was by the look of it. For them to come back to it again just kind of gave LG all the intel they could ever want.
I think it was just maybe the fear of not knowing where people might be positioned in middle, flanking them vents, not having the utility to re-clear a whole lot. You know, they kind of just had to commit back and winds up, you know, hurting them as now FaZe have to settle for just pistols and a chance for LG to have a much easier bonus round with these SMGs. B-Dog on the Marshall, a chance to extend that lead. And again, they've already had a solid attacking half, and their defense has always been up to snuff.
Yeah.
Over 60% win rate on the defense, so they're in a pretty comfortable position right now, LG.
Great read here from B-Dog. Even gets a shot into Dicey. Very orb will come up, but for the large majority of this opening engagement, very comfortable terms here for LG. Having completely contained FaZe, not just in towards mid, by the way, but you've also got Moose inside of sewers. You've got Tig watching over through B main, although he does fall. Maybe they has to be careful of any follow-up defenders, so a Nebula will be placed. He's going to be able to find a weapon to use, but the question still is there actually enough presence here to actually get on towards site completely? And yeah, it looks actually pretty good for the Gravity Well, able to help get another elimination, but the response from LG's defense just a touch too strong. B-Dog for 3 in the round.
Yeah, really well done there from LG. Again, just an easier bonus round, knowing that you're up against a low buy from FaZe, just pistols at best. Now they can get the Vandal into Tig's hands. Dazzle, of course, can drop the Stinger. That's Smada now on a Phantom. So they'll keep some SMGs in play here. Try to keep pushing it, keep the economy building. FaZe, again, struggled on attack yesterday against 100 Thieves. But you would think with this composition and considering how good they are at opening frags, and well, we know that, you know, Dicey and Baby Bay are amongst the top 5 in first blood success rate. But as a team, they're number 3 in first kills from the group stage. So you would think, considering how aggressive they are, how good they are at openings, and the comp that they have with the double initiation and Neon, like, you would think they should be able to cook something up. But we'll see.
The biggest thing so far is even though FaZe maybe statistically have gotten the better part of the tallied first kills, LG have done well to mitigate how free those first kills are. This time, though, the first blood engagement very convincing for FaZe. A 2-for-1 exchange gets us to a very early offensive 4v3.
Yeah, and they still have mailroom control in the process. So they didn't give up any real estate on the map to go for that aggression on the A side. Tig, though, holding nicely here at stairs, catches one. Poise holds him off with the fragment. Flya catches a frag out in the middle. And so FaZe are really putting the hurting on this B side of the map. There is no one on site from LG. It is just Tig playing the stairs, shuts down the 0 point. It does get stunned and is forced just to kind of sit back and wait for the rotation from Dazzle, but still going to have to play this a man down with full site coverage for FaZe.
And the thing about this, though, even though you've got numbers and the site control for FaZe, is LG are going to be able to rotate to this very quickly, and you can maybe pick up some rifles, but just as soon as I call Dazzle getting into the play, he's immediately taken out of it. Good long-range shots coming out. So now it's on to Tig for the 1v3. Player above him. Oh, very cleanly able to take down Poise. Poise barely even shoots back. Flash now coming out. That's the end of the utility for FaZe's post plan. It's just down to can you get the kills. Good read from Tig for the first. Not going to get the last, though. Supa saves the day, if only just barely.
Yeah, didn't like that FaZe were giving him 1v1s there. Really would have gathered them just kind of play together backside and just try to play the tower or something like that. Make sure you can double face them. So a little bit sloppy, but they still get the job done nonetheless. So no harm, no foul. As it is going to keep the game close here. LG, of course, has plenty of economy to buy back into this one with basically a double bonus situation at the beginning of the half. So no problem. B-Dog picks up the Spectre because he's got the Blade Storm. They have several ults in play as well, but so does FaZe. The combination of that Cosmic Divide and Rolling Thunder could be huge for a take.
Yeah. Quick aggression coming out. B-Dog looking to get up top. Able to find one, get the reset on the knives, but it's not going to be enough. Once again, opening first blood engagement. Tilts the way of FaZe, but Tig will respond. And in the first 15 seconds of this round, we're already down to a 2v2.
Again, you expect that kind of pace out of FaZe, but LG's looking to fight him head on. But you're playing in the FaZe's hands when you play that type of style. They're ready to scrap. They thrive in the chaos. That's where they like to be. Now they have a 2-on-2 post-plan opportunity perhaps here on this A side. So Spike will make its way down. Superman still has him guarded with some utility here, but that's a great paranoia. Superman now stressed out, and now it gets hit.
No immediate follow-up, though. And Moose on the cross.
Keeps
it to a 1v1. Supa versus Tig. Supa on the backside through screens. Spike just in front of him. Looking to see if Tig is going to challenge, but no such luck as Tig holds up towards the top and crosses by just as Superman gives up the angle. So Plant will come down. Now the onus is on to Tig. How do you play for this retake as he gets a dark cover involved? Slow on his approach. Super playing the backside corner. Yep, gets the angle on it. And FaZe now all of a sudden down to within one.
Yeah, again, I was a little bit concerned for FaZe there in the late round. I mean, they went for the Rolling Thunder push in the screens and got caught. and puts them in a tough 1v1 against Tig. But again, they're winning out these clutch situations. Even if it's by the skin of their teeth, they're still collecting them. It's starting to build on the scoreboard. As again, Superman continues that fine form from the 100th series from yesterday. Again, gives FaZe another heavy hitter on the scoreboard when it comes to the fragging department. He's at 15, right next to Dicey, Baby Big at 13, so pretty good distribution there. Economy now low for LG, and this is a chance for FaZe to tie things up.
Yeah. We're going to get Dicey on the tour de force. Quick action on the Baby Bay, throwing his shoulders with the high gear, in fact. And that's enough information, but interestingly enough, Dicey does not get out. The paint shells pushes back Baby Bay, and the first blood is actually tallied by LG.
Yeah, they had a big A-ramp stack ready to fight Baby Bay and Dicey head on, and as you said, Dicey unable to escape. Oh, Dazzle trying to catch points as a sitting duck, but able to get away. In the meanwhile, Baby Bay on the opposite side gets his frag on the Mata. That's going to equalize things back up. Tig trying to flank from Ramen, as you were indicating, but misses the opportunity, and now FaZe have an understanding of the lay of the land.
Man, that was tight, though. Maybe a couple of missed chances for LG in what would have been a thrifty round off of both Dazzle and Tig right there, but now you're back into trying to hold off this offensive onslaught towards A. Overdrive up. Boy. Moose just melts right in front of Baby Bay. No problems there. Yeah, absolutely not. And the spike should go down.
Something about those initiators being able to stun people and clear corners that seems pretty good on the attack. FaZe being able to start trading their way into some victory here. After Shock will finish off B-Dog, and now it's only on Tig with the Sheriff, 1v2. And this time, FaZe won't even allow any stress to build. They'll clean that one up pretty quickly to tie things up 9 apiece. And again, this has been quite the slobber knocker here on Split. Elimination on the line, and both these teams are going at it, man.
LG will have a talk about it, though, after 3 rounds come through in a row for FaZe after, I won't call it necessarily their greedy second round full purchase, but in a way, it kind of feels that way. I mean, it's just one of those things that in those quote-unquote eco and light buy rounds, they just historically have not necessarily been the greatest at them, even through the group stage, but seems to be a pretty pre-diagnosed setup as far as what they want to do on the attack. And for LG, where do you look first? Because once again, we're kind of talking about the same thing. How do you stop the initiation this time, comparing it to lacking initiation on the offensive half?
I mean, you've seen LG certainly have the mind of, like, playing these aggressive setups. You know, we've seen them triple push middle. We've seen them, you know, right there play a triple stack play on A-ramp. So they're trying to go head-to-head with FaZe early because they don't want FaZe to have that launching pad to play those fast-paced attacks. You know that once you allow those people to find footing, they're able to get off that utility and get into a site and kind of play that flash and dash type of style, I guess you could say, with Baby Bay being the tip of the spear. That's when you allow FaZe to dictate the pace of the game and kind of play their style. So they're trying to disrupt them a lot. The problem is they haven't really gotten much out of that. You know, when they tried to go middle, they got caught that round even. Yeah, they got the initial exchange, but eventually Baby Bay still evened it out. So they could try to keep disruption, or they could try to play a little bit more steady pace. Like, it's just kind of up to them, you know, on what they think is going to be best.
Offensive fault line coming through his FaZe. Looks to get aggressive. Baby Bay still going to force the angle. Dicey right behind it, but is not able to lock down the trade. And this time it's LG kind of drawing a line in the sand to say, we will not take an extra step forward, but we'll fight you if you want to fight. And it works out nicely for the defense.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to sum it up. I mean, the relay bolt didn't really have any impact there from Baby Bay. LG still just have a straight-up fight, and they wound up winning it there. So now FaZe have to play from behind. B-Dog watching the A ramps. They still have vision on B. Alt comes in to reinforce from Tig on that side of the map. Again, B-Dog feels confident kind of just playing this solo for now. Even has a bit of a crossfire with Moose in the back of A side by Elbow. So, I mean, LG have all their bases covered. Now they can just kind of play standard. A little bit of a miss there, but still have the 5-on-4.
We'll see. It's poised rotating over. I was going to say, is this one of those situations where you're just going to charge the 0 point and toss it out to see if you can move the defense? If that's the call, which it looks to be, it's successful because LG are full rotating over towards A, expecting the hit. It was never coming, though, and now Flya has a chance to try to open the door towards B.
There's still some defense in place, though, with Dazzle and Tig, and the paranoia is there, and time's running low, so Tig, once he feels the pressure, can hit that. Dazzle can play off of it from up top and even has maybe a slow orb he can drop down. So, I mean, there's still ways to stop this from FaZe, but FaZe playing that contact. There's the paranoia. There's the follow-up.
Shots are good, but only for one. Slow orb just inside of the dark covers. B-Dog gets involved for the next response. Actually tags Supa through the side of this, and oh, how about the fall down for B-Dog as well? A little bit of style points coming out of the main, out of LG, and that will get them back into the lead up 10-9.
Yeah, I like the adjustment there from LG. They still are willing to take the early fights, but they take it on their terms kind of from the site itself. What a shot from B-Dog here. And then the drop down roundhouse kick to Superman there. I mean, that's the type of stuff from B-Dog you're expecting to see. As we are seeing great distribution from fragging on the LG side of things too. I mean, look at this. Like, if you look at the top fragger in the server is at 16, the bottom fragger in the server I think is at 10. Like, it's been a very tight race in these exchanges.
Lots of utility from FaZe as they take A-Ramp's control. But it's just all of this is read by Moose's spy cam. So defensively, that was your only real threat you needed to establish was let's make sure we can at least read the play. So you do get the intel needed. Now it just comes down to setting up a response if you're LG.
Yeah, knowing's half the battle. They are looking to play for retake this time, playing from screens. Moose able to get one. Baby Bay quick to exchange, however. Now the smoke up, allowing the spike to go down. Now it's going to be a 4-on-4 retake from LG, but B-Dog catches points right before the smoke blooms, and they get a res as well on Moose.
So now it's a 5v3.
Yep.
And, well, LG still trying to clear out the top side of A tower, and Baby Bay is actually in a spot that he could respond to this. He's going to have to if there's going to be a chance. Mata feeling a bit uncertain about the clearance is going to go straight to a showstopper, and FaZe has stayed alive through this, at least for a time. But now the problem is you have to stop the defuse. And even though the Aftershock will do some of the job, it was stuck to halfway, and Flya's clutch-up attempts will be foiled. LG on 11.
That was a beautiful retake from LG. Obviously really helped that B-Dog's able to fit that extra operator frag in before Superman smoke blooms on screens. Then they get the res, and they threw a key smoke on A ramps, not allowing Baby Bay to get any vision on A heaven. Then they spring forward the showstopper combo push to get into sight. There's the outshot from B-Dog I was referring to. Now here comes a showstopper. They basically use that rocket and B-Dog shorty to pinch Superman an elbow for the frag. And at that point, FaZe really just have no recourse. It's just really no way to stop that. So that was really well orchestrated from LUMINOSITY to bring that retake on the A side to extend that lead 11-9. Timeout taken by FaZe. They had a bit of a spurt there with 3 rounds in a row in the attack, but now LG have recovered. They look like they've made the key adjustments. What does LG do now?
I mean, you win this round, you win the map pretty much, right? I mean, FaZe is
LG,
on a buy and then probably save immediately afterwards.
I would like to see a little bit more challenge at mid from FaZe. I mean, they're usually a team that's very successful at just loading up like 4 players middle and just fighting for male and vents, and then you kind of use that to kind of like just leave that threat of an A heaven flank and B heaven push all the while for the rest of the round, while you can still kind of, you know, play the extremities however you'd like to. I think they've been really reliant on some of these like just fast-paced fights on the edge, and I'd like to see them put a little bit more mid-focus in.
Well, we'll see. Lots of pings on the offensive front through mid. The only defender who's currently there would be Dazzle. Looks like this should be a barrier orb early, or just the same slow orb we've seen, and it's a slow orb to create a little bit of extra space. So FaZe will be stalled. 0 point will connect onto at least 2 defenders. So some establishment of FaZe wanting to get to mid will be known by LG. It just comes down to, do you even try to recontest this, or you just give it up if you're LG?
Yeah, hard to fight for it now. FaZe aren't keen on taking it, though. They're still just kind of sitting back, waiting to see if LG is going to get pushy. They had that trademark watching the A flank around Sewer's position. Cam's been rotated by Moose this time to B site, so he's done a very good job varying that. And I mean, FaZe has never cleared that cam.
No,
I feel like it's literally gotten all the information every time. And so while Cypher's kind of a controversial pick for some people, Moose has found a way to just get a lot out of it throughout this game as Dazzle now spins his barrier or to block B heaven. And again, FaZe are doing a whole lot of nothing, and they don't really have any real estate. I mean, look at this. Like, B-Dog is still just solo holding A close. They still have double vent coverage middle. They still have their normal B defense in place. Like, FaZe just aren't really
all this utility
pressure.
All this utility has been countered by one slow orb. It's been countered by one slow orb. So now the Rolling Thunder has to come through. Barrier orb's going to be broken, but Dazzle gets away with his life no problem. Moose even able to get a tag off of his spy cam will reveal how FaZe are getting into sight. And all of a sudden, FaZe is, yeah, they're on, but they're going to be contained here. There's really no solid exit for them. And, well, the bit of good news is that Flya will actually put a little bit of early defensive pressure, so to speak, on this post plan. And as the Cosmic Divide goes up, it's FaZe who have good control over both Garage and the site itself.
Yeah, that Cosmic Divide definitely changes things. I thought Dazzle was going to get caught there. His head was exposed, but he's able to get away and keep the 4-on-4 retake in play. But they're having to kind of dance around this Cosmic Divide. they don't really have a way to flash through it either.
No.
So, I mean, FaZe can just hold angles here and just, you know, wait out this wall until it falls.
And B-Dog would have to do something incredible. Denies it. Oh my goodness, maybe he will! He gets the
What?
2! LG just run through the Cosmic Divide, and maybe there's something to be said about FaZe just not having any utility left because all of it was spent on the initial take.
Yeah, that is certainly a lot of it, and they also weren't really catching anything on their way in. I mean, LG were not giving them any fights that they wanted to get trades to give them maybe a man advantage on the post planet, and just never happened. LG keeps it even keel, and then, yeah, they wait out that Cosmic Divide a bit. They gather up. They use the Bladestorm or B-Dog to press forward, and, I mean, that was in the blink of an eye. It was over. I mean, FaZe had the holds. They had good spots, as you mentioned. Again, they had the Cosmic Divide kind of blocking vision, but as soon as LG decided to strike, they hit everything. And now LG looking to secure the pick. 1 round left to go.
0 point will tag Dazzle, and FaZe will this time use that as an opportunity to try to make a little bit of a step forward in towards Vents. B-Dog nearby. This would be a pick and a half from him. Smoke still holds the angle, and he gets the kill on the Baby Bay. Mid now fully contested, and FaZe in a 4v5.
Yep. And now that's why it's no surprise to see how many categories this B-Dog character is in the top 10 statistically. You're seeing it right there in front of your face. The eye test follows the numbers. So he just continues to pop off with this operator, putting the finishing touches on this. There's the third. Why the heck not? Might even look for an ace up close with the shorty here. Nah, Moose will take that away, but I'm sure he's fine with that. The victory is what matters most, and the quad will be how he ends it.
Unreal, man. It's absolutely unreal. And the thing about it is, you know, I was really, I think, just generally kind of interested to see what Luminosity was going to be able to do, not just as they, I think, kind of try to finesse this map pull, kind of forcing FaZe to pick into one of their best maps in Fracture, but, you know, able to establish B-Dog dominance early here, Dust, is a key, because that was how they beat FaZe the first time around. B-Dog with an operator and Bay, so to speak. It came through once again here in map number 1, and that's a problem for FaZe if they go into this kind of in-between map halftime.
Defenders.
I don't know, Dust. I don't have any more words.
I don't either, man. I think all that's left to do is let everyone kind of let that marinate in a break, and we'll let the desk kind of pick it apart after that. So stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
To the analyst desk as we break down the action from map 1. LG finding the victory over FaZe. FaZe now looking great.
Mike, Buck, talk to me.
Even in a non-VMix world, we still managed to keep ourselves muted.
Welcome back to
well,
VCT.
production did
You
tell
can
us
be the
not
host.
to
Hold
mute
on.
our mic.
If you're the host, you have to be over here.
Okay, I'll do it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I need you to duck down so you're a little bit more like me, and I'm gonna try to.
I'm gonna do it. Okay, so Buck, why don't you walk us through that first half there?
Something agent compositions. They're not that good. I'm really angry.
Whoa! No,
I hate.
You're
Okay.
back. Go back. Try it again. All right, we're just gonna reboot this entire segment.
And welcome back to the analyst desk here as we break down the action from LG versus FaZe as LG finds the win on Split. Ender, we'll start things with you since you're so much better at it than I am. What exactly was going wrong in this first map for FaZe? Because it didn't seem like the FaZe we saw the other day. It seemed like they were a little bit flat.
Honestly, FaZe in a lot of these rounds on defense, this is the comp from LG specifically or historically has done much better on defense as opposed to attack, and FaZe were not effective at shutting down their entry players on those side hits the majority of rounds. There were a couple rounds where it worked out, but like that first clip that we saw up here where, you know, Dicey has the op out and there's a raise just right into his face, that ended up going pretty poorly for FaZe in a lot of rounds, and the fact that LG were able to farm 6 rounds on attack almost made winning this map an inevitability.
It did. It seemed like FaZe, you see the neon, you see the breach, you see all this stuff that's good, or Luminosity sees that's going to be in their face, and they wait, they absorb that. FaZe tried to take mid early, they tried to take extremities early with the neon breach, and I think Luminosity did a really good job of saying, okay, we just use our cam, our information to then aggress where it's advantageous once we know that they've pushed. It was a really smart play.
FaZe in general, though, it was odd, but at the same point in time, they seem to drop the ball in some close situations. I'm looking back at that round that Moose wins in a 1v2. while concussed
no.
from a breach ult. That should never happen.
Yeah, I mean, the first guy runs out of bullets, and the second one, like, it is possible to shoot. Like, that's more, it sucks you're playing breach, and this guy can still fire bullets while being concussed than, like, a huge failure of FaZe individually. But this was, again, a situation where Luminosity had a very successful attack, and as we've seen so many times, if you're able to do well on the attacking side of Split, you're going to win a lot of games.
I do feel, though, that there is room for improvement from LG. I think the composition definitely tilted us a little bit as we were like, it just feels like there's maybe one or two pieces missing. The lack of a breach being a big one.
Yeah, no, and like overall, this has sort of like been LG's mantra for a while. They have played this comp a lot of times, and what it means is you rely a whole lot more on your entry players being put in 50-50 situations.
It becomes tougher.
Right? It is tougher to play. You don't have as much support behind it, but as we've seen before, if you are able to get into sites, you're able to get a lot of kills, and like we've said, they also have great stalling tools once they do move to defense.
Now, there was a round in specific that you wanted to break down. I think it was round 8, excuse me, on the Telestrator.
Yeah, so this shows some of the weaknesses of LG's composition, but also how FaZe were trying to play out so many of their rounds. So we've got this round up on our screen right here, and right off the bat, we get a huge knife out of Poise that spots 4 players outside of A main. This shuts down any sort of attempt. You can see that where the Omen was in sewers there on the minimap, they were setting up for perhaps a fast blind play up towards ramp. With their double divers, the only real support for them to get onto sites is the Omen blind. So that blind is so key, and using it in areas of the map that it can flood the entire area of the site, very important as well. At the same time, FaZe, like they've been doing all game long on defense, they push and test areas with Baby. They punished mid so many times in their 100 Thieves matchup the other day. They also had a couple of rounds where they pushed A main, which is a little different to 100 Thieves. They're trying to show a couple of different looks. But then, when we get over to the A site for the actual hit itself, again, all we have is Paranoia and Mata and a Prayer to get onto the site. So this is how it works out, and there's still great stall tool. Notice how Baby has actually made it all the way back towards screen, so he's got his concusses here ready to go on site. Paranoia, and we have this slow orb. This slow orb is meant to contain anyone from coming out of screens. Unfortunately, Baby has already left. We're also going to see that there's a Paranoia on your minimap flying out right now to try and hit backsite, but again, it is fairly unreliable, and because Baby and Superman are able to get their utility off and stall out this hit, Mata is put in a situation where he's in fair gunfights, FaZe have double stacked onto the site, and everything stalls out. When the players on site die, that means that Moose, who'd been lurking through mid a couple of rounds, lurked up through A ramps that round as well, has nothing left to play for. The front line of LG has to survive to win rounds, and credit to them, the majority of rounds they were able to stay up, and that farmed them a lot on the attack.
But like we said, it takes a lot from the team. Understanding you don't have all of these things to hop into the site, shots need to be made, everything really needed to come together for LG there because of the composition that they bring to the table. So seeing that they were able to execute, seeing that B-Dog was really able to shut down FaZe's entry on the way in, once they got that operator, their defense just became so much stronger. The whole team's coming together for LG right now, even if FaZe is knocking at the door.
It is important to note, though, that this was LG's map pick as we take a look at the map pool for the series. LG wanted to kick things off starting on Split, maybe a little bit catching a FaZe off guard, not necessarily anticipating that, not sure. But now we go to Fracture. This is comfortable territory for FaZe, but let's not forget, they played this map in the first matchup. I know things have changed for FaZe, and it was a win for LG in that series on Fracture. It's possible we could see the repeat, but at the same point in time, I do feel like this FaZe team is so drastically different from what we saw from them in the early weeks of the group stages.
Yeah, and incorporating the roster change and things as well was definitely a bit of a warm-up period for FaZe. I think that this map favors so much those set plays that FaZe love to do. As soon as they sort of downloaded that optic style with Baby Bay on the Neon, they have been so effective at using that long-range utility to set up Baby Bay. So this is a map that absolutely favors FaZe, in my opinion.
Do we anticipate potentially an agent composition change coming in from LG that could incorporate something similar? I don't feel like we will see that. No. They just play too careful.
No, B-Dog is just a huge enjoyer of the Jet. I think it does limit them somewhat in terms of like trying to adapt to like overall meta comps because Raze has become such a necessity on many maps.
Exactly, as well as the way they love to play the defense with whether a Cypher or a KJ or something, not so much on Fracture. It allows them to go forward without having to worry about back so they can follow B-Dog.
Well, we are going to jump into the agent select here in a minute, so we'll see if we see any changes. But again, it does feel like, for the most part, LG is a team to play things a little bit more careful, not as likely to dip into the new agent pool.
B-Dog always wants to be on chamber
wrong.
jet, right? Oh my,
Let's
okay.
go.
Okay, this is very interesting. No,
I like this.
I know, I am excited to
And the
see
breach.
this, especially because B-Dog, he does play the
Brimmy.
chamber on this map, so this is absolutely going to work. Moose going over
This is
toward
a
that
big
agent.
swap.
And yeah, we are just absolutely downloading what FaZe play. I'm curious to see
Roll
how
the
this
dice.
works. Mata does fill a fairly similar role on the Neon that you do on the Raze. It's all about diving into the enemy team. Less so because you don't have the nades to combo with your teammates' utilities to find kills, but in terms of setting up Mata to take first fights on an entry, that is how LG play almost every single map.
It's interesting to see Moose go to the controller as well. Tig now favoring the KO. The little bit of a role swap here. We've got the Breach double flash comp. It is a mirror match. So like you said, downloading the FaZe composition. The question is whether they can do it as good as FaZe does, because FaZe does play this set pretty well, but we're going to have to jump into the action to find out. Our casters are standing by. Dust, Shift, what do you think of this agent change for LG? Will it be enough to take them in a victory over FaZe?
It was enough to beat Cloud9 in week 4, so I have to think that, yeah, absolutely. Why not give it a good old one-for-one try again? I do agree, though, Dust, with what the desk was saying about how FaZe in the matchup versus Luminosity in week 2 does look way more polished than, you know, here now than they did back then. So there is something to be said about it, but this is definitely a composition that, for LG, you have to be excited about, just knowing the fact that you kept this map pool like, really in your favor, because this has been a great map for you over the course of the entirety of the stage.
Yeah, I mean, they've went 6 for 7 in their last 7 games played, and their one loss was the Sentinels, and it was 10-13, so a very tight game. They've always been super strong in the attack as well, usually getting at least 8 or more attacking rounds. It's been the defense that has sometimes caused them some issues, which they are starting on, so if they can get a hot start defensively, you'd certainly favor them.
Well, Tig on the defense with the 0 point will actually catch out a little bit of information, not significant by any means, but there is some establishment of defensive pressure over towards Dish. FaZe will respect that and then immediately rotate back to Arcade where, well, you want to see pop-off moments. You expect to see him for B-Dog. This time, Headhunter will miss, and FaZe will move forward very rapidly up to Tower.
Oh, yeah, they get Tower quickly. B-Dog still trying to play his elevated position. He has to deal with multiple angles and chooses the wrong one and takes a lot of damage as a punishment. Eventually finished off there by BBB. It's a spike will go down from FaZe, and LG's taking a lot of chip damage. They're trying to fight through these smokes right now, and FaZe are collecting.
Yeah, it's a decent idea from LG. Use the sky smokes to try to re-dissect the site, overwhelm from one point of ingress, but as you mentioned, FaZe was already ready for it. And a lot of that just comes off of the quick fast lane play to get up to B Tower. Yeah, you push B-Dog back, he kind of gets flashed off the angle, but that's just what you should come to expect with FaZe Clan on this map, especially when you look at the combination of Dicey and Baby Bay together.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, speaking of good form on this map, FaZe has won their last 3 games in a row on Fracture, and they are near a 70% win rate on the map for the year. You know, obviously they did lose to Luminosity in the group stage. It was a very tight game, 11-13, and otherwise they've been pretty successful here. This is a map that I think suits them, right? They like to be super aggressive and in your face, and this is a map where you get to play more of the set pieces. It's not really worried about map control or mid control per se. You're able just to kind of run your quick attacks, and you force LNG to either defend them or play retake. And on a map where the defense has to play a lot of guessing games early round, it just plays in the FaZe's hands, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with it. Prime Gaming flawless through this one, pretty much as expected. The round win coming to FaZe, just obviously done very cleanly thanks to the help of the Marshal early. I'm sure we'll see a lot of that here on the replay of it, as Dicey was just absolutely making sure the defense had nothing to work with, and then once you isolate LG and Halls, there's really nowhere for them to go.
No, not at all. So FaZe converting a pistol and a bonus. Again, something that they've struggled with throughout the group stage, so that's going to give them a great start. And again, with LG having at times some defensive struggles on this map, you know, have FaZe get the hot start is certainly good news for them to keep them alive. Again, their life is on the line on this very map.
We'll see FaZe once again moving very rapidly. Flash there to counter as the fast lane will be into play. Maybe they will hold his ground. Poise going to take this as an opportunity to collect the free orb. And now it's just down to how do you get through this next line of defense if you're FaZe Clan. Fragment grenade out. That's going to do well as Mata's able to find the first blood, no problem. And instantly, LG, who are looking to play off a flank, will say, no, we're good, but let's just make sure we keep them in this bottom side of the map.
Yeah, and those smokes are burned at drop and spawn now as well, so FaZe are going to have to do more with less as far as being able to take a site without the added utility any longer. They rely on individual efforts now. Dicey does have the Vandal. That gives them a little bit of a punch to pack, but Flya just on the Frenzy and Baby Bay and Poise on the Spectres. Poise is 1 away from ult, so if he can get a frag or something like that, might be able to use that to take a site.
Oh,
Dicey going huge! Oh my goodness, that's changed everything.
Oh my, has it ever. So the route through the ropes to get over towards the top side of the map, but interestingly enough, this isn't FaZe trying to play over to A, and Dazzle's still not able to win the 1v1 versus Dicey.
30 seconds left.
But interestingly enough, LG's defense doesn't say if FaZe continue on this path, they're in a decent spot to try to fight off this 2v3, but FaZe will very quickly recognize, all right, we've got a free site, let's just get the easy plant.
Less dazzled and more dazed and confused is that one. I mean,
It's a fact.
Just unbelievable turn there from Dicey. Huge individual effort, little time left, but they have a clear sight, so Spike will get down no problem. As we do see Baby Bay make his way in for the plant. And there is B-Dog and Tig on rifles, but it's still a 2-on-4. And they just have no positioning. I mean, that was cool, though.
Yeah,
Fan of
that'll
that.
work. Knife does get destroyed, so not full information on where exactly this post plant is set up. Fragment will make Shinonzo in the close corner. And LG look, they want to give this a true go, and well, as they do, it's FaZe who respond beautifully. 3 rounds in a row early for FaZe.
Absolutely. The start they needed. They should be able to roll into a 4-0 as LG do not have the economy here, of course. And I mean, it's just Dicey doing Dicey things he's been doing all stage, man. I mean, again, it's just so fun to see him hit that next step of his career. You know, after such a time off from 100 Thieves and now finding a home here on FaZe and just showing that he can still be a star player. Been doing it all group stage long, and now he's doing it here in the playoffs.
That's not good news for LG, especially after yesterday where Dicey went like 30 and 10.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not a great stall off to what he's been able to do. Baby Bay looking to get forward. Counter fault line will keep him in place just a touch. Fast lane out. Now the utility trying to come through to make sure that this is a clear entryway. But honestly, the fragment is kind of holding FaZe into position and maybe gave a chance for Dazzle to do some work. But it's just modded to collect 1 kill. And FaZe will still hold numbers in a 3v2 with Moose down to low HP.
Yeah, but a rifle gets picked up by B-Dog. A chance maybe to pop off. But as soon as I say that, he's been collected by Superman. So that factor has been eliminated. Indeed, the rest of LG has been as well. So that's going to be the 4-0 start here for FaZe. Doing so pretty clean, only losing 2 people there. So able to build up some nice credit reserves on the core of their team. Of course, Dicey has Tour de Force out as well this round, and he is very good at using it on the attacking side.
Yeah, that's absolutely facts.
I mean, I think he might be the best chamber in NA at that very specific thing. And I mean, overall, he's one of the best chambers in NA, if we're honest, but he really excels in finding ways to get picks with the sniper on attack, something that, you know, Chamber's more known for defensively.
You want to play? Let's play.
Well, at least on the opposite side, B-Dog could counter with the operator. There's also an orbital strike earned for the defense of LG. Tig playing a little bit off the angle from Tree. Just looking for point of contact. Poise looking to line up a fragment, maybe to try to clear this actually in particular. A couple of flashes have come through. The defense will rotate the canteen. And this is just all about who hits the utility better. Fast lanes will dissect the site. Tig trying to hold close. It's a really solid peek with Dazzle. They'll take the first 2, no problem, and FaZe have to back off.
Yeah, really good combo there from Dazzle from B-Tower with the fault line through the fast lane, essentially, and it gives the openers to LG, who have a 5-on-3 at this point. They still have plenty of reinforcements guarding the site, and they have Spike as well out in front of them, so it's putting FaZe in a tough spot where they can't really leave. They can't really, you know, throw the wool over LG's eyes. They have to come back and get this Spike. They're trying to reposition a couple of players here to the underpass to at least have a bit of a pinching maneuver on the B side, but there's still a formidable defense in place, and I mean, Godspeed at this point trying to break through it.
30 seconds left.
Well, Poise now making his play through Tree. Not going to catch an angle on D'Amato, who's playing close onto the stack on the site itself. Moose also holding through gens. And someone has to open the door, and Dicey is able to at least collect first blood onto Moose. Now the dart going to come out. That's going to be information, and Dicey gets a second, but time is a problem. 10 seconds, you've got to go. Tig maybe shutting down the potential opportunity for it, and yeah, absolutely 4 kills in the round for Tig. The other collected by Dazzle, and LG get on the board.
Indeed they do. You started to wonder a little bit when Dicey catches a couple with the Tour de Force, but in the end, Tig holds on. Very well done here from him. The clock also being a nice ally for LG in these final skirmishes, as TIG winds up with 4 when it's all said and done. Of course, a brilliant hold at the beginning of the round to get the spike down and get that, big advantage thanks to Dazzle's fault line. And so, yeah, they're on the board now. See if they can build off of it.
And does the defense want to go aggressive here with an ultimate advantage? And they've got Fly out 1 away from Rolling Thunder. Opening exchange comes out. B-Dog with the kill on a poise. Immediately countered. Baby Bay looking to take extra step forward. And, he's seen moves. Shots come out. Collects the kill. Gets out. Numbers advantage for FaZe.
It's an operator out of it as well, but Mata immediately retaliates with the Vandal, and now we see the push in from Dazzle. He gets caught, but Mata at least collects the trade. TIG chiming in now as well, and LG are somehow finding the way on top of it, but not any longer. Dicey with the heroics with the Headhunter at the end. What a crazy just exchange of blows there in A-Halls, man.
You start to think, after the fight back on the bottom side of ropes from LG, that the round is just over. But Dicey can never be ruled out.
Oh my god.
Oh my, how does this happen? He actually gets the tag onto Mata initially, and then, yeah, slow it down as much as you'd like. Those are clean as you get from Dicey, and LG have to talk about it.
Oh boy, that one gets you,
Wow.
man. Because you feel like Mata was doing his job there to keep getting the trades back. I mean, certainly you question Dazzle's push in there, but Mata makes it fine. And it looking like LG's going to, kind of turn the tides in their favor. And then Dicey does, well, what he's been doing for quite some time now on this agent. 12 frags and 6 rounds played. I mean, he is going to drag his team kicking and screaming if he has to through this map. He is not allowing their elimination to come here, it seems. LG take a timeout to try to talk things through.
And the thing is, like, what do you even talk about here? Because honestly speaking, how they've tried to contest FaZe has largely gone well. It's just been in the mid-round chaos when the fight continues another 10 to 15 seconds longer than you expect. And that's where, the sloppy challenges start to come out, and FaZe is just punishing. So is it one of those things of, okay, we have the win, let's back off, hold the numbers, and keep our defense set up? Should we not be forcing it? Like, what exactly do you talk about here to try to get these rounds all the way across the finish line? This time, B-Dog looks to get aggressive, will read the hit through Dish, but does escape with his life.
Yeah, at least able to live to tell the tale, relay the information, and stay in the fight. As dude, Dicey almost has the entirety of LG covered by himself, frag-wise.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Oh, LG aggression gets caught here on the north side of the map. Poise takes down Mata, now working towards drop. With just Baby Bay, though. Spike not committed. Bit of a split pressure play here from FaZe.
I think if you're FaZe, can you find a way for Baby Bay to create some doubt here? It may not make a difference because Dicey's just teeing off. And now Baby Bay may have timing to hit drop and get behind this play. The thing about this is Dazzle has not moved off the A site. And if he gets a read on this hit from FaZe and can take 1 or maybe even better 2 with them, there's an opportunity for LG. Stays alive, at least for now. First opportunity missed.
Oh, no.
Only gets 1. 1 for 1's okay, but the numbers still stay with FaZe.
Yeah, he really needed to get 2 there, you feel like, or at least get his other teammates on site with his utility. Especially when you're already a man down. Now it's just B-Dog with Tour de Force, and Dicey will dot the I's and cross the T's of that one. It's going to be FaZe up 6-1. Looking to force this thing to a third map if they can keep up this pace, which would be Breeze, which, I mean, is a map FaZe would be favored on.
Yeah, absolutely.
You consider, they're on an 8-game winning streak, I think, on Breeze, over 80% on the year, winning that map. Meanwhile, on the other side of things for LG, they've lost 3 of their last 4, so recent form has not been the finest. But again, FaZe have to get there first, and that's still, that's still a ways away. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. But FaZe are certainly at least connecting the dots.
And I think for LG, I mean, I think if you could find a way to get 4 defensively, considering the start, that would put you in the realm of being able to fight back as you swap the sides. So,
yeah, again, they're a team that regularly kind of gets 8 or more rounds on the attack. So you got to at least put yourself, though, in a chance to win with that 7 to 8 round margin is the thing. And so, yeah, at least 5, I would say, honestly, is what they need.
Well, 5 may be off the cards, especially if FaZe can cleanly take this round. Big corner. Goods for the first. Trade comes out instantly. Defensive relay bolt for Mata to get a little bit further forward. Fault line high gear combo, and then the fast lane to block as FaZe look to threaten top side of B tower.
Yeah, good combo of fast lane aftershock there to get Baby up the rope. It's true.
For a second, Superman wanted to give it a try, maybe just to open up extra space, but Baby just going to hold out the overdrive, see if he can tag away a couple of players. Yeah, he actually finds Mod in the corner. Rolling Thunder in combination with the orbital strike's going to work out. Moose actually takes down 2. That's going to stop the plant completely. Now all of a sudden it's numbers and the clock in favor of LG's defense. Dice is going to have to push through this and likely get it done with the Headhunter, and he'll be shut down, leaving Flya for a 1v3. First on the corner, no problem. 20 to play with. The second one will come off his backside, and a thrifty round for LG. And all of a sudden, I start to cook my words up for potential dinner, as LG definitely still have 5 in play.
Luckily, I already had mine, so I'm not getting too hungry after that one, but that was risky. That was risky. And it seemed like FaZe were just ill-prepared for Moose's orbital strike. Like, they just weren't even ready. Like, they weren't even aware it was an option, the way that they were playing positions on site. Like, we know when Baby Bay gets B tower control and gets that initial entry and it puts that pressure, you kind of want to bait out that orbital strike and then fall back and then replay.
Yeah.
But they just stayed on site the entire time. Baby Bay's extending outside of the site itself, start kind of cutting off the retake at its heels, and it just didn't work out.
Oh, this is well done aggression-wise from LG. They force out Dicey's rendezvous early. There's no help. He got completely isolated on the top side of the map, so now numbers for LG. Null command going to come through. FaZe threatening from the backside of Pop Ropes. B-Dog's on site, and they're not going to expect this. Gets one more before he falls. Moose still trying to litter the site, riddling it with bullets, but FaZe still sticking for a plant, and Poise is going to get this off. Definitely still doable for a 2v4, but LG have a lot of numbers coming from the defensive spawn.
Yeah, they just take their time to work this together. That should be no problem. They have Superman up close. They find him. Good trade there, leaving Poised all alone here on the site. And that relay ball is going to connect. Fragment comes in as well. I mean, he is getting pummeled by utility. And so LG, all of a sudden, a little bit of a resurgence here defensively. Couple in a row, starting to close the gap.
We're able to also collect the operator for free, so FaZe financially should still be able to put together a buy here. Yeah, sure, no problem. Just comes down to, it's going to start getting expensive if we keep getting the operator to play. It looks like they're not even going to be able to afford that coming into this next round, at least if they're going to choose to go mostly rifles here. We'll find out. FaZe is going to talk about it, though, and I think the biggest thing now all of a sudden is kind of, shoes on the opposite foot, talking about LG doing well in the early engagements, not being able to finish them off. Kind of the same thing here for FaZe in the last couple of rounds.
Yeah, I mean, I think FaZe doesn't need to change too much as far as, like, big adjustments. They just need to kind of fine-tune how they're handling some of these, like, late-round situations. Again, I feel like they just kind of overextended against an orbital strike a couple of rounds ago. That round, obviously, just didn't really have much to go with. So,
yeah,
I think the core game plan is still very much intact. I think it's just about polishing some of those little interactions that happen in those key moments of the round. I mean, they're still, with the lead. Dicey's still teeing off at Baby Bay. Like, they're still getting what they need out of the bulk of the lineup. It's just, I think the big thing for FaZe, man, honestly, is the mental side of this. Think about how many 9-3 leads they let slip yesterday against 100 Thieves.
Sure.
That wears on your psyche eventually. Like, you start to wonder, you start to question whether you can close the game. And I think it's just about shaking that off and having that resilience. That's where they're going to get tested here.
Well, important round here for FaZe to try to get their finances back in order. They'll have a full buy, but you've got Fly on a Bulldog, and everyone's going to be around, if not under, 1,000 credits after this round 10, depending on the outcome. Poise will be the one to collect the orb, but outside of Superman, there isn't a single ultimate to speak of from either side.
That is very true here as we see FaZe repositioning over towards the B side on this north end of the map. Dicey just kind of watching for flank, doesn't have the trademark drop, so he has to patrol it, which is always kind of worrisome when you're trying to kind of play two angles at once. As FaZe now actually decide that they want to go dish. Push out here from Tig. There's a lot of room for LG, though, over towards A-Halls. They can kind of use it as sanctuary and play for retake if they need to now, unless Dicey catches them.
Yeah, that's the big key, because LG are actually looking to clear out B Arcade while this move from FaZe is on the way. So defensively, there is no one here to deal with this, but they do at least bait out the orbital strike early. So that's one tool off, but as you'd called, Dicey's in a very interesting position, and a missed shot from B-Dog! An immediate turn on from Dicey gets him a double. Finally, Tig mitigates some of the damage, but Mata's gonna have to find an opening. Oh no, maybe he has. Baby Bay on the scramble back towards site. Call with this weapon out, but Moose misses the shots. That should have been the freest kill Moose has ever seen. So now Mata on 30 HP is trying to get this defensive retake back in order. Tig wants a fragment in. Still will get this off, but Baby Bay has gotten out of the backside corner. Not gonna make a difference. Tig still missed the shot. Baby Bay high gears to the high ground, but it's gonna be Tig for 3 in the round.
And Tig is the hero that LG needed and perhaps deserved in this whole situation. He'll just pull off the defuse. Because I tell you what, Dicey looked like he threw a wrench in that round. Those 2 frags on the B side of the map, cutting off those rotations, giving FaZe the edge. It looked like it could spell trouble, but Tig, he does catch Dicey, doesn't allow Dicey a third, maintains A Hall's control, and then uses his utility to perfection to come back into the A site and then wins a key heads-up duel. This shot that you're about to see here on Taflaya is absurd. And then he catches Baby Bay, even with all of his aggressive antics with the movement, still finds the aim. And LG are marching this thing back into contention.
Unbelievable resiliency out of Luminosity. Defensive control over through tree. Dicey has to give this away. Dazzle, this is a great fault line, but it's right into the SMGs of FaZe. So the first blood is still tallied by FaZe Clan. And on to B they go. B-Dog at least able to isolate Dicey for 1. Mata on the tight corner. Will not have a lot of help on this angle, but the orbital strike once again going to come through. Baby Bay will not get out with his life. We go to a 4v3 favoring Luminosity. Poised long-range angle. Only can find 1.
Oh, no!
FaZe is still fighting back somehow. How have they done this?
Moose has missed a couple of sitters, man, and Tig bailed him out last time.
Yeah.
Can he do it again? That fragment's not deep enough to unsettle Superman, who's still back at the site. It has slowed down the plant for a time, but still main advantage for FaZe here. Tig trying to come in with the flash. B-Dog knows that Superman's there, but he has to worry about getting flanked now. Stuns get exchanged, and now the spike can go down. And this is going to be a tough-ass Tig. Well, at least get the read with that 0 point. Oh, now he gets shot. He doesn't know how many people are up there.
It's shot. They don't know how many people are in tower. There still could be 1 that they're missing, at least. And look at Poised. There's the pop flash. And B-Dog still hits the shot, though. Now to the Headhunter, not going to work out. And FaZe off 3 SMGs. Take away a 7th round. Unbelievable.
And I think that's got to be a big win for FaZe's mentality. You know, again, you've let some leads slip in the upper bracket against 100 Thieves, and it's starting to happen here again in this half. But then you win a really key round there. And this time, they made the adjustment. They didn't burn 2 players from Order Strike. They lost 1, sure, but it was a little bit kind of a different scenario. And then they come together to get the dub. And now they're up 7-4 and on equal footing firepower-wise, if not with the advantage coming in the final round of the half.
Are Luminosity going to try to get aggressive through tree? Haven't seen a lot of this lately. Yeah, the fault line smoke, relay bolt action will get them significant control through the side. Oh, Mata almost had the angle. A touch too late to it. Dicey still looking to fight back against this. Null command in play, but LG are not going to force the issue. FaZe Clan already on towards A, and Dicey watching the flank will get a first blood.
IG were peeling off at just the right time, but Dicey will catch 1. Spike now goes down at A to retake it to be even more pressure now with lower numbers as Poise and Moose exchange equally.
Gotta get on. Gotta find a way to get on. B-Dog able to find 1 through halls, and Mata's cleaning up the site with the overdrive. So now Dicey's on the cross. 1 will slide through. He expects a second challenge. Mata still shooting lightning out of the fingertips, but it's B-Dog to put it across the finish line. Dust, oh my, a heavy-hitting series. We just got another heavy-hitting half.
I love that double swing onto Dicey, and I love this recovery from LG. They got their 5th round here, just enough to give them a chance to still 2-0 this series. B-Dog letting that stew a little bit longer, perhaps, as now he gets the defuse. And what a crazy half, and what a wild ride this series has been so far. We'll get to see the finish line, perhaps, at the back end of this break.
Well, this has been a Wild West of a series. Just expectations, not just for the overall maps, but for individual rounds, just throw them out and just enjoy the ride. 7-5 the first half. LG get a chance on their offense after saving the defensive side.
This is a big half coming up. FaZe's tournament life on the line here. They had a big lead, but it has slipped away.
Where do you go from here? So far, set up over towards A. This has been forfeited, though. Or I shouldn't say forfeited. Conceded by FaZe. This is pretty understood that if there's going to be a hit onto A, it's going to be right in your face. And Fly's position may be the one that needs to kind of get the first intel, but he gives this up just as FaZe look to reclaim, and the timing of this could get really interesting depending on when the Sky Smoke fades off. Superman for the first. Mata trying to dart on it, but he's completely concussed up and somehow still alive. Maybe they're able to slip the net for a little while longer, and the trades look good for FaZe, but hold on a second, because you still have the opportunity for Moose and Tig from opposite angles, maybe to get something done. Now it's just down to Tig. Tries to flash himself forward. Nothing to be found, and FaZe win the pistol.
Yeah, I mean, FaZe read the script. They've had it in their possession for quite some time. They were ready. Great read. Great frags from Baby Bay getting into the mix there. Just using Neon to the fullest extent with that mobility and just scrapping. Mata never got space off his push from drop. And that's a big pistol conversion for FaZe. Gonna hold LG off a little bit here, as they are not gonna look to do any purchasing either on the LG side of things. So FaZe have a pretty easy time to 9 in that race double digits.
Quick damage on the B-Dog. He somehow is alive on 2 HP as FaZe thrust forward through tree. Modern on the other side does get suppressed, but has gotten into tunnel, so maybe an opportunity still to keep some play up as far as reclaiming tree.
Yeah, just getting basic space, though. Still not really threatening the FaZe defense in any sort of way. Baby still has an aggressive angle as well towards his side, and he has support. Superman could swing off it a little bit of a bait and switch action. Relay bought a lot of Superman even further forward, and they're running this guy down. They're going all the way. Tig trying his damnedest to stay alive, but eventually is found out. What a crucible he was sent through, as we are going to see the spike get planted here on B.
Oh, boy. But that'll be about it, so it seems. A little slide 360. Okay, Baby Bay.
Yeah.
A little finesse job as FaZe will finish off the follow-up as expected and now regrow their lead to 4. Have to come out of this one. If you're LG, you have to win this next round.
Absolutely. Cannot allow FaZe another 4-0 start. Did well to fight back in that tail end of the first half to keep it close, but they're running out of rounds to make a miracle happen again. And again, FaZe seem unshaken today by letting their lead slip a bit. Just coming back with the same confidence each and every round. And now they're going to their bonus, looking to try to keep pushing it. But here's LG's chance to crack back.
Has to be clean here, because honestly, as much as this has to be a must-win round, you really need to get 2 in a row here for Luminosity and put FaZe into a financial situation, try to cut into this lead as early as humanly possible. Mata looking for information on a bit of a solo rogue route here through Dish. There are contestants inside the site, but largely speaking, he'll control drop no problem. Sky Smoke will go down to contest the least sight line, and the rest of LG kind of very disciplined, holding from the bottom side of the map. Need to figure out how exactly they want to get into halls to help this position for Mata.
Yeah, they're still kind of spread out, watching for aggression from FaZe on the B side of the map, while, of course, you know, playing from drop and trying to settle into A halls. They're just trying to make sure that nothing's getting in behind them. Again, really wanting to flex his firepower advantage, of course, and they start working their way up through A halls. Again, looking for that split with Mata up top. Dicey, though, hiding in the corner up top.
Yeah.
Would need to get found out. Obviously, he could be spammed. They want to guess it. We'll have to see how it plays out.
And where does Supa have this orbital strike trained to? All over the middle of the site. Dicey's going to get one and then rendezvous away. Quickly back into the site, though, goes the spike for Dazzle, looking to get the plant off. And it will successfully go down, so 5v4. Numbers still with FaZe, looking to retake. And a lot of this is Numbers back over through halls. And you take a look at Moose, who's not actually inside. He's going to hear these doors open. Smoke will come through. That will stop a lot of this hit on the way. Oh, gosh, the timing of this is just, it's delaying so much for FaZe on the retake. Fragment in part of the picture, but it's not really doing too much, at least as far as clearing off the staircase. Tig missing out on the 1v1, though. Maybe gives an opportunity for a secondary angle for FaZe. Numbers now a problem. It's Moose for a 1v2. See Supa on the cross. Gets the first, but not the second. Is the molly enough? No, it fades away. And Poise, I think he's got enough time for this. It'll be real close.
He does too. Very close indeed. Oh! You thought maybe he timed it right with that Molotov. We saw it flying on the cam there. It looked like that could be the insurance policy to secure the victory, but no, it's not. And I think that simply comes down to LG not clearing Dicey off the site efficiently enough. You can't let him get one and get away from that spot. I think that kind of sets you back right away. And then just losing a couple of key fights there in the end. And I mean, they're just getting out-fragged. They're getting out-battled, man for man across the board.
Yep.
And that matters so much when we've had so many rounds come down to these 2v2, 3v3 type situations. FaZe have just been more efficient. And now they win a big bonus. And now LG have to think about things because the economy obviously not the best shape. Yeah, that spike plant gives them a little bit more wiggle room, but I mean, it's tough because I mean, you kind of have to wait. You know, you kind of have to maybe throw a little low buy into this to try to make sure FaZe don't get a free 11th round, but you got to make sure that you have yourself your best go in the next round.
It's tough, though, man, because you just look across Luminosity with what would have to happen here to get a 2-0. Statistically speaking, as far as their ability through the group stage, they are one of the worst teams when they're not at full strength. I mean, they're 16% win rate in ecos, 47% win rate when at half buys. It's just the stats don't really favor their ability necessarily to grab a thrifty here, but they are, like you mentioned, going to at least get some sort of a look. Try to put some stress onto FaZe. Tig, 0 point out. First shot will still connect, though. Yeah, it's not great news here for LG.
Dicey was more than ready for that. B-Dog able to get the Tour de Force out, but they've already lost a huge piece of the puzzle in Mata. As they're trying to lay into this B side, they're now transitioning through the underpass here. But Dicey has a good angle. Maybe Bay now catches Tig. They make matters worse on an A push. I mean, LG are just running out of fronts to fight on.
Yeah. B-Dog, do what you can. It really feels like it would have to be onto him. Yep.
They found my trap.
1v1 with Dicey likely to start. Gets the opener. Okay. That'll create some space for these SMGs to get involved. Gets the second onto Supa. Okay, hold on a second because Poise is running into the danger zone, but the Molly will not separate enough. And now Poise a chance to fight back against Dazzle. Will collect not just him, but also finish off the rest of Luminosity, getting 3 in the round. FaZe on 11.
What a hero play there from Poise. You know, it's starting to look like things might go for worse when B-Dog starts finding a couple of entries with that Tour de Force, including hitting a nasty shot on Dicey. He favored Dicey in that fight every time. He's holding the angle. But they just don't get this trade on Poise. Like, Dazzle has to be there quicker to get the trade and not allow Poise to escape, or he has to win that fight, and it just doesn't happen for him. He's had a tough game right now, 2-14. You hate to call it out, but when some of these rounds are this tight, you know, those do matter.
Sure. And he just on top of that, you know, you really want to put it across the finish line here for both Dazzle and Moose. We've seen them from their perspective, a couple of the kills that you expect them to win, that they're just not.
Yep.
Oh gosh.
Boy.
Yeah, Mata just gets absolutely baited. Dazzle now called upon. Supa down low. Gets the first and the second. Another one where you have to assume that Moose is going to be good for the trade, and he's not.
Yeah, it's those extra frags that add up across the course of the half. As Fly will find one on the B-Dog as well. Now it's just Tig at a 1 versus 4. Spike nowhere near his possession. It might as well be on a different planet as far as he's concerned. Not that that would really matter a whole heck of a lot. Even if he had it, good luck holding off a retake from FaZe with 4 players strong. One of the best retake team in a Valorant.
Timing here is going to be okay. Possibly. No.
Well.
Flash on the corner. And even that won't work out. Goodness. So FaZe on map point and Luminosity are going to be in dire straits financially.
Absolutely. And again, FaZe making this push. You get to bring them to your home court in the 3rd map. That has to be thought of. You know, Breeze now all of a sudden is a reality instead of just a Far Cry. And again, you'd favor FaZe there, not only just off of the success they've had on the map and just, you know, the numbers, but just the momentum and just the style points we're seeing out of them, man.
Oh, for sure.
They look fierce.
And Babyface out here slide 360ing and retakes, buddy. What else could you possibly want?
You can definitely see they've shook off that loss from 100 Thieves quick.
Oh, for sure. Well, the Rolling Thunder's going to connect, but even still, FaZe gets so much separation away to make sure they're not finished off, and even on top of that, they still collect first blood. Spike will be planted, and now it's on to Superben and the rest of FaZe looking to use their ultimates and weaponry to try to break back on through. Decent fight back here from LG, keeping FaZe at arm's reach for now. But arm's reach may not be enough. Orbital strike through. FaZe just not losing any gunfights. Can somebody buy a trade from Luminosity?
They'll have to wait until the next map, it seems, Broke. That's going to be a prime gaming flawless for FaZe to end the map in style. My goodness. What a fight back from FaZe.
It's just in the convincing nature as well. I mean, I think the desk is going to have a lot to say about LG, especially with the compositional quote-unquote change compared to what we knew them doing versus what they pulled out versus Cloud9. But against FaZe, in their own compositional favor, very limited amounts of success. A lot of key gunfights that should have come through that were not there. And it just felt like Baby Bay and Dicey were just never contested. So with that in mind, we send things to the map 2, map 3 break. It's, as you mentioned, Breeze coming up for map number 3. We'll get the thoughts from the desk when we come back after the break.
A particularly difficult second map for LG as FaZe ties things up at 1 apiece. LG just really never seemed to get their foot in the door. Matching compositions, 2 totally different playstyles.
Yeah, you thought it was going to be spicy. We're like, all right, they bring out a little bit more. It's not the Cypher sit back. They're going forward with all the compositions. They finally get the breach in there. And it looked like they got themselves into some hot water because FaZe came ready to know exactly what the composition does on defense and on attack. And we saw it was night and day for FaZe here as they just ran the map.
Yeah, it seems like FaZe gave LG a lot of issues when FaZe were on defense and LG were actually trying to execute into a site, especially over towards that A site. Baby Bay and crew sort of like pushed through those normal like double brim smokes and were just taking fights. Like after the initial flash utility comes out, which LG had quite a bit of, it was FaZe that were flooding through those smokes one after another and just attacking Luminosity before they could comfortably get on the site and plant the spike, and that worked really well for FaZe.
I love it. There was another one, round 16, for, who was it? Dicey on B boxes, looking straight downstairs. They try to use the fast lane, and he just takes it out. And you can see how ready they are for these compositions to hit each site. They stopped LG before they even got moving.
FaZe pushing smokes. Who would have ever thought that would happen? I feel like it did.
Never.
It did just kind of seem like LG was maybe potentially underprepared for the way that FaZe was going to play. But at the same point in time, I was not really particularly inspired by the way that LG was playing.
Yeah.
It just felt really clunky. It felt like, even though they weren't necessarily copying FaZe, obviously they had the same compositions coming into it. It felt like FaZe just knew how to use this comp better than potentially LG did.
Yeah, I mean, FaZe have showed like over the course of Stage 2 that they are very competent on Fracture and looking more at like some of the things that sort of went wrong, because the attack side or the defense side for LG was fine, right? 7-5. I do think a lot of teams usually find a little bit more success on defense on Fracture, so maybe they'd like to have a little bit more. But when they were actually successful getting onto the site, which they were when they were choosing the site that FaZe wasn't like aggressing on, right? Because usually on Fracture, you see these burst plays with Neon right out the gate.
Right.
If you are playing on the opposite side of the map to that, you can get the spike down. But we were playing a lot of sunk cost positions on the sites, which is something that I think teams have adapted and evolved past, where it's been playing more for like brim lineups or planting the spike out in the open towards B site. And there are quite a few rounds LG put themselves in a spot where their backs are against a wall. Sure, you maybe get that first kill, but FaZe are good enough to trade them out.
Right.
So it's always going to be a 1-for-1, and time is never really on your side. That was sort of the issue, as smokes are coming down and LG just can't get out of those tough positions on sites.
And it felt like LG was always fighting back. The first 4 rounds and even more of the second half go to FaZe, so you're always fighting from behind. You're almost pressured to make these plays, and FaZe just continues to work off of that advantage.
A little bit scrappy there from LG, and just a reminder where we're going for the third and final map. It's going to be Breeze. This is not necessarily a great map for LG. We watched them lose during the group stages to Sentinels. They struggled on the attacking side. FaZe, when they last played it against EG, also didn't have a great attacking side, but their defense was scary good. So you have a strong defensive team who plays an attacking defense. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense, I guess. So they play a strong attacking defense against a team who's got a weak attack. That's problematic for LG.
Yeah, I mean, in a similar way to Fracture, right? Like, Fracture has 4 lanes, right? So defenders are always going to be looking to, like, really test at least one of those. Breeze has a lot of areas to leave your sight, either through mid, through halls, elbow, AB main. Like, there's so many options to push. So FaZe, almost always on their defensive side, are going to look to exploit one of those areas. Whether it's Dicey holding it up or Baby Bay sliding forward with the support of his team. Like, this is something you can expect from FaZe, and a lot of it can be guesswork at times, and then reacting within the round. That's the hardest thing to do on Breeze, is get that early information of where that aggression is coming in, because it's not always super obvious if it's just an op going to be peeking and making the right choice. That's where FaZe constantly are testing you. They're always trying to poke holes in your defaults.
And my concern, again, we talked about this coming into the series, LG is a little bit more standard. Now, obviously, they play a bit of a different composition than maybe we would expect to see from them on the last map. It was a little bit more new.
Yeah, they ran it back from week 4, but hadn't done a lot before.
But we just haven't really seen them play a lot of the newer agents. They're typically playing a little bit more of a passive style of play. Do you think they'll do the same thing here looking at this third and final map in Breeze? Do you think they might change things up?
Honestly, Breeze comps are pretty boring. We don't see a lot of exploration. Like, sometimes you see people trade up a Cypher for a Chamber. Maybe you see a Sky instead of a KO. Exciting. We got birds on the map, but no, like, overall, or Neon. But FaZe Clan is like one of the very few teams that rocks the Neon. That is like as much as you see teams usually try to push the envelope here.
Well, let's take a look at the agent select to see if we see any changes or if it's going to be more of the same. Well, there's a KO slot in. That's already a bit of a change, as we saw them play Sky in the past. Moderate change at that, but better.
I will say that sticking to a Cypher here for LG, I think Cypher is very effective at shutting down a Neon, especially with those like deep kill trips on sites. Not the trips that just like watch halls or watch like the actual entrance into site. Those are pretty easy to break, right? With like a drone coming through from a Sova. But deep trips, that's how you shut down a Neon from going very far back in your sights. You can play much more reserved off those trips. You pop the cage, get the spam through. You can really shut down that style.
I also love the way they played that Cypher on Split as well. Very receptive to the information FaZe was doing. If you're going to have a Neon in your face, put a cam up, sit back, absorb, then re-hit. And LG did a perfect job on that Split. It's 1-1. I'm ready for this.
Let's also take into mind the flank factor now potentially being neutralized by that Cypher. It helps them control the flanks. That's incredibly important.
Yeah, because normally, like, if it's Jett versus Chamber, Jett smokes that, and you're good. Even a Jett versus Cypher can boost over it. Neon, not in the same boat.
Well, our casters are standing by. It's a third and final map. Again, elimination on the line as LG and FaZe go to map 3. It's Breeze, Dust, Shift. Take it away.
Yeah, I think the appropriate word here is shutdown, by the way, and not only off of the fact that Cypher is going to be a pretty big key for LG, but you also have to remember that FaZe, as aggressive as they were, really struggled versus Evil Geniuses on this map from the attacking half Dust.
Yeah, sorry, me and Bach were just having a little bit of an intimate moment there.
That's fine.
Kind of lost that. I mean, he was being real sweet to me, as the Dust has been sweet all week long. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We go back, man. We go back. Here we go to Breeze, and again, a map where you have to feel like FaZe is certainly favored, have a much better track record results-wise. Granted, I will say a lot of their wins have been kind of stat padding in smaller tournaments against teams you probably really wouldn't know too much about, but they still are on an 8-game winning streak compared to LG, who've lost 3 of their last 4. And FaZe has the momentum as well from the previous map, you have to feel.
Yeah,
see
for
if LG can shake that off.
The biggest thing about this is you assume that for the most part, Moose, as Ender was mentioning, is going to sit towards the back of the site. So a lot of this utility you're going to see early for FaZe is going to be trying to take care of any potential early trap wires in the mix. FaZe will show force on the backside of this toxic screen that immediately try to essentially bait out that, oh, maybe we're giving a bit of a retreat back. But LG still looking pretty significant defensively over to the double doors. Spam shots coming out from Dazzle are not going to connect, and that's going to lead to Poise trying to get a spike down early.
Indeed it is. Dicey on the late flank as well through middle, but Tiggs watching for this with the Ghost, and he will connect, so that has been eliminated, and that makes the retake a little bit easier now in LG. Man advantage, and they don't have to worry about that mid flank any longer. Everything from FaZe is directed towards FaZe, unless we see Baby Bay able to make a move, but they're already anticipating it. Look at B-Dog.
Yep. Oh, but B-Dog's getting finessed right now. Ankles are being broken. Shots will miss. Snakebite will come down. It's not in necessarily a great spot, but FaZe are still winning the gunfights over through Cave because LG need to find a way to clear, and it's not quite working out. And now Baby Bay's on the pinch through double doors, and there was not a single gunfight won outside of the opening from the side of LG.
That's just the gunfights, man. Again, LG had the reads there. They played for the retake. They read the flank and caught it. get an advantage. They get the read that Baby Bay is going to try to set up an additional flank through A-Halls, but they just can't come up with the win in the fight. And they just lose all the duels towards Case when they face. And I mean, FaZe is a very scrappy team, and when they get going like that and their stars are hitting shots, and you're not able to respond in kind with your own talent, like, you're just, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I hard agree with it.
And they're letting FaZe win a lot of pistols in this series, something that FaZe are not usually accustomed to.
Fast lane, crossing through mid. Luminosity not choosing to contest that with any utility, but instead looking to put together some aggression through B, and boy, are they ever through B.
Indeed
FaZe
they
a bit
are.
slow to get over towards A. Aldrin will come through to start to get some clearance, but you're just trusting these. It really is just the rendezvous posts on the back are going to be good to stop the flank. Dice is going to at least throw his scope that direction for now, but it's already kind of correcting and trying to pick up these rendezvous. May not make much of a difference. Dice has been hitting snipe shots all day long, and he'll take the first on to B-Dog.
He's pretty good at the video game, I would say.
I've seen worse.
Yes. However many pros are below top 5 would be worse, because that's where he's at right now in ACS. Same with Baby Bay. If you're just talking numbers here, is Basil and company trying to make this retake work in the pyramids anyhow, but there comes that fragment disrupting any hopes at the defusal attempt, as well as some shock darts and a recon. I mean, everything going FaZe's way, as you'd expect.
Yep. This toxic screen dissection's been perfect. And now you get the full information that all 3 members are nearby. As you would normally expect, no one's going to even be able to touch this spike again, though, for Luminosity. So everyone will meet their maker here as soon as it explodes, and FaZe will go up quickly 2-0.
Indeed they shall. Do so pretty much flawlessly through these first couple of rounds as well. So we're going to see the buyout, though, from LG against the FaZe bonus. A chance to finally strike back, as FaZe has been good on both sides of the map historically, over 60% on both attack and defense. For Luminosity, it's kind of been some struggles on both ends, but particularly when they do succeed, it's usually due to having a very strong defense. You know, we saw them get wins over Version 1 and Evil Geniuses, for example. That was kind of 8 or more defensive rounds that kind of helped them do it. So that's what they're going to hope to do here with this firepower advantage.
And, you know, it's just going back to the point about trying to get this Cypher to counter out FaZe, especially in Baby Bay's aggression. FaZe just don't care.
They just play
Throw
back.
a little bit of early utility, keep the Sentinels stuck over towards B, and then just get early plants. So now for LG looking to recover, it's going to be off this play from B-Dog to start. Trying to get back up, and good help from Tig to allow him to get back upside the ropes, but Flya fights back. FaZe are still holding this flank off, but LG now from the front starting to make their move forward. Can you be better here? Trying to clear off caves. That has to happen first and foremost. Spike now trying to get diffused. Shock dart's already in. Relay bolt behind it. And it's just halfway diffused. Not going to be good enough. Tig's not going to be able to get here in time, most likely.
No, not at all. Doesn't have time even if he wants to fight against Flya. Flya can just play patiently here. Doesn't have to worry about it. He'll ultimately win the fight anyway to add icing on the cake, and that's another 4-0 start for FaZe on the horizon. And I was just about to say that I thought LG were doing a great job keeping them distracted. You know, all the pressure they were putting at A-Halls there, which is giving LG time to get 3 players on site, and FaZe couldn't even really fight against it because they had to keep putting, you know, the focus on that A-Halls press from Tig and Co. But it didn't even wind up mattering. FaZe eventually break through all that pressure and win the bonus. I mean, that is damning for LG. You've got to figure out a way to make that work. You have firepower advantage. You're making the right pushes. But it's kind of a similar story to the previous map where you make the right calls, but you just aren't winning your duels.
You are powerless.
Yeah, now they're going to try to attack and isolate Moose. 0 point. Null command. Moose. Oh, how has he gotten 2? Through the fast lane, he takes down Poise. Lots of information on the attempt to revive, but Superman able to clear up at least some of the space around it, trying to bring their teammate back to life. And FaZe are still just finding a way to get eliminations, but all that said, the stack from LG on the half wall is working out really nicely for him. It's down to a 2v3. Poise is timed out, and Tig is able to connect with the Sheriff, leaving Flya for a 1v3 in front of him. B-Dog is on 1 health point. There's a lot of time to play with, and Flya's gotten the spike. Just comes down to winning the gunfights, gets the first. Now trying to stick for a plant, baits him out, but it's B-Dog able to secure the Thrifty, and how about that for a way for Luminosity to get there first?
There you go. Moose planting his feet firmly into the ground and not allowing FaZe to pass without casualties. Those two picks with the Sheriff are just massive. They don't allow Poise to get rezzed as well. And, I mean, Fly is just in an impossible spot, getting double-faced on the fake plant. So a big win for LG, not allowing FaZe to build off of that opening win on the bonus. Still a full buy, though, for FaZe before the force out for Dicey.
Lots of utility for FaZe as they once again change the look, this time with a ton of presence in mid. Dicey will get intel on where Dazzle's positioned, and B-Dog watching the cross, finds
Great
first
read.
blood to Baby Bay. Now the Owl Drone to re-clear mid for Luminosity.
Yeah, I mean, where Baby Bay is, his team is followed. So it allows B-Dog to kind of say, okay, like, I don't think anyone's going to beat me from B lobby. I can just focus on this mid portion, and he catches the frag onto Baby Bay, and there's no follow-up potential for FaZe. B-Dog being so far away, entrenched in B site. So that's a really good read from B-Dog. Just kind of get away with one. They also now have the Viper's Pit on AKs, so FaZe is kind of being funneled to either push spawn or push B, because A-Halls is being held by Moose with utility, and again, that Viper's Pit secures caves.
Oh, they're just gonna go for a Dicey 1v1, and he gets the second as well. There was no tools. There were no tools to block the line of sight outside of maybe a poison cloud, but Dicey just says, I'll do it myself.
He's just nuts, man. Dazzle, though, big kill on the Flyer there, at least slowing down this split. He's getting into the back of the site now, staying alive, buying time for rotations. Boys will plant the spike, but it's still a 3-on-3 retake attempt here for LG, as Dazzle's done well to stay alive here at the back.
Moose has to win this 1v1 to the back. Does he even see Dicey, though, holding this underneath plat area? And he's missed FaZe completely. Oh, he should be able to hear this utility, though. Okay. So there's at least one clear. And Supa has to fight this back, and a key gunfight for Moose. So now it's on to Poised. Not going to be in a great spot to watch over the defuse. He'll just take the kill into Dazzle and concede the round.
That's just a tough spike plant location if you're going to try to play it from tunnel. There's no way to spam that. Nothing you can do. Obviously, of course, Moose's flank having so much impact, you know, taking down Dicey for free is also a tough one. Moose is feeling it right now, man. He's been kind of the linchpin to kind of keep them in this. Obviously, the big double frag with the Sheriff to stop FaZe from going up 4-0, and that was a big flank there to silence Dicey and help that retake along. And now FaZe all of a sudden find themselves on the back foot. Dicey having to go to Guardian, Spectre for Flya, Frenzy for Superman.
Still some tools to work with, though, for FaZe if they could get a plant off. And look at the difference here for the defensive setup for Luminosity. Moose has moved over towards A. Aldrone the first thing forward. A very early fragment coming out of LG defensively from Mata. That's actually going to find a significant amount of chip damage. And then the relay, or the recon bolt afterwards, will extra punish FaZe. But even still, they get the pyramids, and they're going to get the spike off. Now you've got a chance to try to hold this as Fly has still got Hunter's Fury to work with in the post plant.
Indeed, they do. A quick exchange there between Mata and Dicey will put us to a 4-on-4 situation right now as the defense starts to flood in. Mata catches Flya to get the edge. Now Mata breaks loose there with his ult, and we see LG starts throwing it. They still have to get through this Viper's Pit.
And Supa's in trouble. He was down to low HP, just trying to hold a corner. 0 point out. That'll find at least one suppression. Long-range shot starting to really come to life. It's just down to Poise once again, and it's a full-on ace from Mata. Give him a lot of credit for stopping the majority of the hit in the first place as well. Luminosity tie us up at 3.
Yeah, he's starting to get a little bit concerned for LG when FaZe actually get on the site, get spiked down and drop the pit, and it's a 4-on-4. And while they do have slightly inferior weaponry, they have all the space, and the clock's on LG, but Mata comes up big here. He kind of splits this attack up by facing caves. Man. And yeah, I mean, it's just a bloodbath thanks to Mata. Hitting everything here.
I'm just surprised in the first place that Flya even gives him an opportunity to get peeked. You still have the Hunter's Fury. You're looking to lock things down in the mix with the Viper's Pit, but he just kind of over-aggresses and Mata connects. So
that's fair.
Little mistake.
Point. Not really get a read off of that 0 point, but that trap wire, of course, going to be there. So maybe he's going to eventually be found out. Takes down both gadgets and fades back. He's done so early in the round that, you know, it really makes it hard for Moose to get too much value out of that. Yes, he still has the choke into sight covered with another trap, but as it stands, you know, FaZe can start putting that mid presence, and LG won't really know what the numbers are. other than maybe kind of watching from pyramids with their Viper and Tig. But in the meanwhile, Dicey now plays up A halls, and FaZe are getting a lot of control here.
This 1v1 is everything if it happens. If Dazzle falls, your ability for Luminosity to get in and retake, considering your Sentinel utility is down, would be tough. He doesn't check it. Huge win for Luminosity to win over through A halls. Now the play coming forced out from FaZe. Fast lane over through mid as they connect in towards B. Trying to get out of the sight at the moment is B-Dog. He's actually able to stay alive and maybe still be a part of this. Moose will fall, and finally B-Dog will get out. Going to a 4v4.
Yeah, looking to try to get this retake. They get to the half wall here pretty quickly, using that Viper's toxic screen as a little bit of sanctuary to get a little bit of initial space on site. And yeah, the flank from Mata coming in, looking to keep his heroics up from the previous round where he helped them. And that's going to be a double up there on the Superman, and LG's just popping off left and right. And they eventually finish it off. LG have found a second wind here.
At a key moment as well. It just really felt like in the first 3 rounds, FaZe was getting everything they could possibly want over towards A, but now all of a sudden, Tig is putting down to different Vipers while we've seen very limited amounts of attempts for FaZe to even get into the front door of A anymore. And that 1v1 through halls essentially forces FaZe to have to commit, and Luminosity do exactly what needed to be done to just
It's just a tough call for Dicey, because if you check hard left, then you expose yourself to defensive spawn. So it's like you have to kind of guess, you know, what is the more dangerous peak. And unfortunately, he just guesses wrong. That forces FaZe to pull the trigger on the only thing they really have left, which is B, but LG just handled it greatly.
Oh, boy.
I mean, Mata's on one right now.
Absolutely is.
This is 3 multi-frag rounds in a row.
Yep. ABB overdrive, good for 1, nearly gets the second, but Tig survives on 4 HP. Now the Hunter's Fury for Dazzle, trying to finish off low HP members all over the place, but it's still going to be a 2v2. 10 combined health points, though, for FaZe.
That is tough, man. They are living on the edge, bleeding out right now, still trying to play around this poison orb and just try to buy time for this spike.
Yeah.
Dazzle will slide up position at double doors here. Moose coming in from spawn, and again, they have such superiority when it comes to taking an extended fight.
Well, they're going to see Poise on the site, and that shot dart's going to get the job done. Yeah, it's just everyone is just so softened up. Supa, 2 snake bites, has to use 1 early, just trying to hope that he can stretch this round for as long as humanly possible.
Can fall back for a second
drone
one.
will come through. Second one over the top.
Is that going to land in killing time? No way, right?
No, no way. No.
Spike defused.
Yeah. Needed a little bit more time on that one. And even then, they just weren't even hit low enough to where it would have mattered, probably. So, just lost too much along the way. You could see what the plan was, but LG are just cranking it up. 5 in a row. Mata, again, back-to-back-to-back, multi-kill rounds. He's found impact on all kinds of fronts, whether it's retakes, whether it's initial skirmishes, whether it's flanks. He's just finding a way to have impact, and that's great news for LG because this team has often been the B-Dog show.
Yeah.
It's often been he was the only one that could really get, you know, a better first blood to first death ratio. But now Mata's out here showing you that ceiling that we know that he's always had. He's had it since stage 1. He's had it since even last year. We know how capable this guy can be. And now he's stepping up when he's needed in a key moment to keep LG in this playoff bracket. Even Dazzle's found some better form. We talked about how he was struggling.
Compared to the last game, yeah.
Yeah, he's up there now as well, finding his moments. And everyone else is doing their job, you know, just the way you'd want to. And, I mean, it's pretty neck and neck right now when it comes to fragging, but LG just is finding FaZe's number. What's FaZe's adjustment going to be on the attack is going to be the question. So that they're getting sites, no problem. It's just they're not able to hold off these retakes.
It's just so many tools missed, I think, is the biggest thing about this for FaZe. I mean, their opening utility to clear out potential traps from Moose on the Cypher has been good, but you talk about Flya kind of giving away his life a couple rounds ago when the Hunter's Fury should have been a post-plant tool.
It's the small details for sure.
It really is. It absolutely is.
There's been a couple of times where they haven't watched their flank. You know, like there's just been a couple of like things where they just haven't been in the right timing as far as keeping an eye on things and keeping tabs on the map.
Well, this time the threat from FaZe pulls out the null command early, so FaZe will respect that, back off just a touch, and in the same moment while they're suppressed over through caves, some significant real estate has been given over towards mid, but the thing is, B-Dog is looking to reclaim this kind of off screen. He's got the operator in hand and did make a play over towards the B link, but the focus stays with the inevitable hit, as it is starting to come out over towards A. Pig inside the Poison Cloud has one of his own guarding the front doors. Mata once more just spams things down. Are there going to be sufficient trades here from LG to hold? Flya able to at least keep some consideration his way, and Baby Bay from mid-map takes the double, and FAZE are once again back onto site.
Yeah, and they also now have the edge on this retake attempt. B-Dog trying to slide in here quickly with the operator, try to catch someone off guard as Moose tries to come up through middle, but Baby Bay's holding these double doors, and it's going to be hard for Moose to crack forward. He's also getting flanked, so it wouldn't have mattered even if he won the fight against Baby Bay. So FAZE this time, take that timeout, kind of sharpen up some of the finer details of that round, and they come out on top to hold LG from missing the lead any further. So to keep it at 5-4, now just a few rounds left to play in this half. Both teams still very much have footing in this game. It's still so in the air on who's going to want it with the advantage when this half comes to a close. I mean, certainly LG had a good run there, but now FAZE has been able to slow things down and strike back big with Baby Bay with the big round. And now they're both on full boss coming into this one with only one ult available. That's going to be Flya, who's had this for a while, to be honest, I feel like.
Yep, since like
I'm
round
kind of
4.
surprised it hasn't been spent at this point so we could build it up again.
Yeah, definitely something that, as we mentioned from before, was a missed opportunity. It just hasn't been needed or just forced in any regard. Now it's going to come through. It's like you can hear us. That's used initially to put some pressure on the outside parts of the pyramids. It only works out, though, for a little bit of damage, and FAZE are not fully in yet. Dazzle's still holding onto the staircase. He's got utility to use to further the delay a little while longer. Recon Bolt gets turned aside, but as Moose collects a kill up top, there's really no way FAZE could hit for a plant, and LG are here with all the numbers. You have to just win these gunfights from on the pyramids themselves. Tig on the cross, that will do well as FAZE started to fight back, but the number's too much as LG gets to 6-4.
Yeah, so FAZE's success is short-lived. It's right back to winning ways for LG, having won 6 of the last 7. Making the comeback after FAZE went 3-0 up. And I mean, even with the Hunter's Fury trying to pave a way forward here for FAZE, Moose is just winning the battles out in A-Halls. It's making it essentially a one-round attack onto the site, and Tig finds a significant timing there, swinging pyramids for a double. And I mean, FAZE are running out of time and funds at this point. They're scraping the bottom of the barrel to get a buy here. I mean, Superman has to get a stinger, but he does have the Viper's Pit, as we are seeing FAZE put some presence at middle.
Well, Poise will get the Orb and Caves. That will allow him a chance to utilize the null command if so desired. Aldrone for FAZE also clearing out mid-map, just making sure B-Dog isn't watching this cross.
Right.
Similar recipe, I think, for FAZE when it comes to how they successfully got onto A, but this time they're actually not going to put any pressure towards double doors, and it looks like they want a hard focus to the front with this null command.
Yeah, they're looking to just try to come out swinging through K's right now. A-Halls has been cleared by Dazzle's Owl Drone. Now he's taking an angle, so he knows that there's really no one pressuring it. Now here comes the Toxic Screen, but here comes the Fragment to try to stuff the choke point, but they beat it. They get the timing.
The thing about it is the Viper's Pit defensively does still get down, so now it's green smoke all over A.
The Venn diagram of doom.
How do you work through this? Well, Poise is going to get the plant off. LG's still on site, so to speak. And if they can find a kill, a Neural Theft would be ready for them on this full retake over towards, but it's just, I mean, come on. It's just everyone's just holding inside their own Viper's Pit at the moment. No one's able to find one another. None of the intel utility is finding any value whatsoever. Poise watching over the top, just wants to see if you can see a red outline. Yeah, no one's there. LG are full flooded on the back, but FAZE, they've got the advantage here with the spike in front of them.
What a ludicrous way to play out around with just double Viper's Pits right next to each other, but FAZE is getting the better benefits as you see them cleaning up the kill feed. Only B-Dog left with the Operator. Good for one, but no time to do much else. Man will even clear him out to survive with 3.
Or 1.
Yeah, I kind of misread that one a little bit there.
That's fair.
But at least FAZE gets the important part of the round, which is the dub. That's going to put it to 6-5. And look at this, a couple of marshals having to come out from LG.
Yeah, it's definitely
Plates aren't available for B-Dog, though, so I mean, that kind of helps it a little bit. And man, what a crazy half this has been. What a back-and-forth affair. It's been a back-and-forth in a weird way, though. Like, the last 4 rounds have been 1-for-1, but each team kind of had their little streak before that. And now it comes down to the wire for this final round where we could see this thing tied up 6-6. And again, this is map 3. This is the lower bracket. This is the in for one squad for Stage 2. And perhaps the rest of the year, depending on how things go with LCQ. So this is a big moment for these two.
Conversation right now has to be, how can we get B-Dog into a good position to pop off with knives? And at least based on how the setup is right now, you have to assume that someone's going to go help them over towards B. But when FaZe have read LG on a lighter buy, they've wanted to put significant early pressure up through mid and up to the front doors at B. So will that be the case here once again, even though you don't have the null command as part of the equation this time?
Yeah, I really like FaZe's mid pressure. I mean, the only time they've really been caught on it was when they went a little too far and B-Dog catches them with the operator because they weren't really pressuring B main, so B-Dog felt comfortable just taking the fight through tunnel. So I kind of wonder if they maybe make that slight adjustment and still put the mid pressure, but maybe still go window and try to put a little bit of presence there. Or, I mean, honestly, their A plays have been 9 times out of 10 great for plants. It's just mixed results on holding off the retakes. I mean, it's really whatever they feel is best.
Well, the 0 point will at least connect onto 1. B-Dog looking for a chance, either up close or afar on the platform, and they're going to try to flash him forward. No, it's just a dry peek, and B-Dog gets one, smokes himself back. That is a huge first blood for Luminosity. It immediately gets countered on the other side of the map. Moose was looking to go through halls, and now FaZe have an opportunity to try to use their numbers over towards A.
Oh, Tig's been spotted as well as Dicey starts inching forward. Toxic Screen will come up, though, to try to delay him from pushing any further as we wait for FaZe to gather up. And Dazzle might find a timing here through A halls. Are they going to pay attention to this? You see, they're trying to get in position, and Dazzle catches him in. That means the Viper utility not available for the side take. It's all on BB, trying to just walk in with his own vision blocking, but B-Dog over the top gets a big frag, and another.
Not going to get one more, but it's job done. It's absolutely job done. 2 to 4 out for Dicey. Could he find a way to counter the pop-off on his end? He knows he's got Tig at least in one corner, but the question is, where is the rest of Luminosity's defense? And he's going to trust the Vandal, at least for now. Dazzle on one side, Tig the other. Snakebite will give it away, but it's Dazzle who finishes off the pick, and what a play for B-Dog and Mata to get the opener, and then eventually Tig to delay the hit. It's a 7-5 half. We swap the sides. We'll see you for the final half of this series in the backside of the break. What a battle we've been treated to here in this entire series, let alone the map, as Luminosity get through the first half with a significant 7-5 advantage. But FaZe's defense was the product of 10 in a row last they played this map. They would need something similar here, Dust.
And again, they're certainly capable of it. Kind of got slowed down on the attacking side more than they were hoping for, sure, but they definitely had still plenty of fight left them defensively with this up-tempo, forward, moving defense as we see Baby Bay finding a tricky little spot here at middle. Gonna have some support as well from top window with Dicey.
Yeah.
Well, there's no way they expect him to be here.
Oh,
boy,
he misses a lot.
Spike down mid.
And
Oh,
Moose
no.
trades it back. Oh, that's a big oh no. Poise still looking to hold the angle. Second man up here for Flya. Only goes 1 for 1 once again. Health pool advantage starts to accrue though for FaZe, and it's Dazzle for a 1v2. Steps on towards sight. Long range shots to Poise, clean as you'd like. But the spike is down, and Superman is guarding.
Yeah, indeed he is. He's got the better ranged pistol in this situation as well, you have to think, with the Ghost up against the Classic. Oh, that's a great snake bot as well. Slows it down so he can reposition here, get a whole new angle. Dazzle's recon will clear middle, sure, but you don't know where this guy's gone.
Yeah.
He could be elbow, he could be up top, he could be anywhere.
But the timing is going to work out for Dazzle to get forward, grab the spike, and possibly also get out. Just comes down to how you get out. 30 seconds, and he's going to go all the way on the backside. They're going to meet outside this double doors. Does anyone expect this? Oh, that's the knife out for Dazzle initially. Super's going to be able to find him, lock down the headshot, and FaZe with another key pistol.
It wasn't the prettiest way to get it. Let's be honest. I mean, Baby Bay had the jump on him for sure. You thought that he and Dicey were going to come out reigning supreme on that middle exchange, but it winds up being equal. And then it comes down to a 1v1 in the end. It's just Superman just playing so smart. Snakebite to buy time for the reposition. Has a pretty good read of the situation. Catches him on the transition through the back halls. And a much needed round for FaZe. Again, have been catching on pistols a pretty crazy amount this series.
Yeah, absolutely. Opening shot from Dicey. No problem on the B-Dog.
That's such a crazy angle to have to worry about, especially this early in the half.
Yep. Decent shot for Mata, but it's not going to work out. Now it's just on the 2, Dazzle and Moose, trying to work their way for something at A. Spike being held over towards halls. Dazzle with the Marshal now is looking to clear, and as he puts the scope down, the information from Poised is good, and FaZe are just not going to let him through. Nope.
No, not at all. Flexing that firepower superiority yet again. Last time they cashed in with a bonus to get a 3-0 start. And this is with an even heavier hitting bonus because they have 2 Bulldogs in it. So, I mean,
Yeah, for real.
there's a very real chance for FaZe to actually leapfrog LG for the lead in this next round. You are going to see Moose, the last man standing here in A-Halls. This recon vault will give him away. And that'll do it. All square.
Prime Gaming Flawless tallied up 7-7, and as you had mentioned, a significant bonus coming through with the Marshall not only being part of it, but of course the Bulldogs. And for LG, you really haven't found too much. I mean, obviously the Flawless coming through in the last round, but you didn't even get a plant off in the first, so your money's not exactly as good as you'd normally expect here in round 3.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, light armor for 2.
True indeed. And so this is a chance for FaZe to maybe take the lead here, as we are going to see them looking to maybe get a little bit aggressive over towards caves. Mata trying to check for that 0 point. Meanwhile, LG start taking some mid control.
A lot of mid control here, Dust.
All right,
They're going to come right
real
through double
quick.
doors. Poised is reading this for the most part. It's all about how this first 1v1 goes. Baby Bay looking to isolate, but oh, okay, here comes B-Dog right upon the initial challenge. Fast lane to keep Baby Bay alive, but the fragment's hitting. In the same moment, though, Dicey does at least turn it back just a touch. Gets 2, but it's not enough as LG get the site, but they do not have the spike for this 3v2 at the moment.
No, not quite yet. I mean, that was a tough one because they're basically split apart from helping each other on the site. When that split comes in and Baby Bay loses that exchange at Caves early and is forced in the corner with his teammate going down, it really puts FaZe in a tight spot here. Now they're in a 2 versus 3. Spike has been reclaimed. Moose is watching this A-Halls area from the backside. We'll even have a cam to kind of just keep tabs on everything. And so LG looks like they secured this one. But
Although
there's a chance now for FaZe. 2 on 2.
Sure are. Thing about this is you've used the majority of your tools to get back in. You still have the Toxic Screen to literally split this site into half. So you're going to isolate Tig on one side, Mata on the other. Recon Bolt denied. Mata still holding tight. Time becoming a bit of a problem. Tig trying to come back on through, but it doesn't make a difference. It's Mata again. How big has he been for Luminosity? It's 4 in this round. And LG retained their lead.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea there from FaZe, and they double FaZe through the Toxic Screen against Mata, but Mata just has that elevated position and connects on both. Again, I didn't really like FaZe's defensive setup to begin with. It seemed they were just too split apart on guarding both fronts of A. And then Mata just finishes the job there. Topping the server with Fly at 15 frags, but here comes the full buy versus full buy with Dicey having tour de force. Big round here to set some tempo.
Absolutely, and there's still just 2 light armors for Dazzle and B-Dog as well, for what it's worth. Recon Bolt defensively for FaZe. Establishes no early threat towards mid. Toxic Screen just blocking the entryway to A. Dazzle's going to try to scout things out the Aldrone to get things going.
Yeah, just wants to at least clear these close corners to make sure they have a little bit of safety. Doesn't really get
in, though.
very far before it gets shut down. Of course, that is a much weaker drone than it used to be these days. Mata has been found out with the 0 point, but he gets his orb and is able to back off.
The blind little shock dart that lands on the Moose.
Yeah, that's great.
Second one
Hits him
comes
again.
out. That hits him again. He's down to 44 health. I mean, that's going to completely eliminate LG's ability to play through halls. This hall has to come through the front. Null Command a part of it. Super just trying to hold the backside of the site. Denies the ability for any of the recon information to come on out, and FaZe will tee off for the first 2. Mata looking to be brought back to life, and he will successfully be revived. Numbers still good, though, for FaZe's defense, even more so as Fly takes down Dazzle deep over through the cave entryway. That's your spike carrier down. B-Dog concussed by Relay Bolt, vulnerable from the snake bite, but still finds a way to fight things back. How? It just isolate! Somebody get a trade on this guy! It just cannot be allowed to happen!
Oh my god, B-Dog is just pummeling them right now. Now has the Blade Storm out for a potential ace right now. They know where he is with that Neural Theft.
Oh, it just goes Hall. So many mistakes from both sides, but right there, that's just on top of the list of things that can't happen if you're FaZe.
Dude, he gets that frag on the Baby Bay right before the relay bolt hits him, too. I mean, the timing of that frag is so crazy, because you think if he doesn't get that bullet off before he gets hit by this relay bolt here, right here, if he doesn't get that shot off, you feel like he gets closed in on, and this never happens. But he's able to find the frag just in time. And come on, Moose. Just let him have it. Let him have it. Come on now.
I'm out of here.
Oh, man. FaZe looking to beat the timing of the recon bolt, and Babyface going to get forward, but he has a frenzy. Not going to work out for a long-range battle against Dazzle. Never had a chance to try to isolate the timing in the front side of the mid doorways. So FaZe stretched now defensively, having just to play essentially this crossfire on the opening doors day.
And we'll see if Mata multi-frags can get out here and do it again so many times in the first half. He was good for it. And obviously B-Dog took the spotlight a little bit in that previous round. Aldrome comes out. They get the read. Fragments exchange, slowing down this attack. Now Snakebite in the mix. Poise is just stuck. He has no escape. Mata with another. And there it is. You call it. It's happened. Like Babe Ruth, it's another multi-frag.
Spike planted.
Well, Fly is going to give this a go. Shocker actually does connect it. Oh, headshot through the door keeps things a little more interesting. Dicey has an operator. Problem about this is he's not really going to do much with it as he's playing from the opposite side, and as Fly falls, that will be the round.
Indeed, it will. LG up to 10 now. 3 ahead of FaZe. Dicey trying to save an operator here over on B side. Looks like he should just do it. LG not really giving much chase to that. Just making sure they secure the round and get the heck out of there together as a unit. Keep these 4 weapons up. And I mean, LG have really turned this into their favor.
Yeah.
It was kind of a back and forth affair towards the tail end of the first half. Never really saw where it could go. And now LG have taken control of things here defensively. Or on the attack, I should say. FaZe defensively. You know, normally a team who's crazy successful on retakes, winning almost half of them, the best in North America, but they have not been able to construct one in these critical moments here on what could be the last map of their tournament life.
And look, just again, you go back to some of the overarching narratives of when Luminosity had beat FaZe before. It was B-Dog dominating, and you keep Baby Bay really out of the picture, largely speaking. And yeah, there have been some great moments for Baby Bay, but it hasn't been the dominating storyline that has led to FaZe success, where he's just in a position to take over because he's getting forward so easily. That hasn't been the case. He's been kept largely out of a lot of these attacking rounds that we've seen. Now defensively, he's having a hard time reclaiming ground too. So a lot of credit to LG.
LG's done a good job, you know, making sure they're not letting Baby Bay pull off these aggressive stunts early around defensively. Like, they're having people sitting back and kind of watching for those plays, catching him while he's vulnerable, still coming out of the sprint. You know, so they're minding their P's and Q's. They're not, like, really leaving any cracks for FaZe to slither in between. Not only that, but, I mean, Mata and B-Dog are just guns blazing right now.
Yeah, for real.
Even Dazzle's had a hell of a map, man. What a turnaround from Fracture, the in-game leader here, leading by example on the scoreboard with 12. A couple of those frags were in some pretty clutch moments as well. So lots of impacts. And this could be, I don't know, FaZe's real last chances at a full buy.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is 100% your life on the line right here in this round. You have to feel like if you're FaZe. Maybe they working with Dicey. Really good combination of the relay bolt plus the operator to shut down the play over towards B. Spike retrieved no problem, but the question is, if you're going to give away this angle because of the operator threat, how do you work through the Viper's Pit with no information from Dazzle?
Yeah, you're just kind of banking on the fact that defense is light here because they're trusting in the Viper's Pit to do the heavy lifting of holding A. In the meantime, LG taking control of middle. Flya, though, puts the owl drone out. Will spot one of them, and so has an idea that some personnel are making a move over there. Poison Orb goes up as well. Takes a little bit of damage, but still fine. In the meantime, we still have the standoff right now at K's because of this Viper's Pit being in play. Moose trying to shoot through it.
Hoping.
I mean, it'd be crazy if he actually connected on one of those and get the frag. I mean, they really need it right now, but it's just not come to fruition.
Well, the knife will come out, but once again, that's really nothing besides you know that someone's inside the Viper's Pit. Fly keeps safe to double doors. Huge advantage now for FaZe defensively. As Super continues to just stay away from Luminosity, and yeah, there's just no way to re-enter. So much respect given, rightfully so, over to Dicey's op, and it really just never felt like there was ever an angle. B-Dog's going to try to give this a go from the backside of the flank. Baby Bay very aware this play could be happening. Yeah, wins the gunfight, and that'll be the round for FaZe.
10 seconds left.
I mean, they just had both fronts covered, right? Viper's Pit, guarding caves, double up with your 2 big stars on B main, getting the opening pick very quickly, getting the read on the mid play from Flya's drone, and just, you know, had everything taken care of that round, and they needed it. And that was a critical round when it came to their economy, what type of shape they would be in for the rest of the half. But I'll tell you what, they're not out of the woods yet. They have to do some
not at all.
rebuying here. It's keeping their economy relatively low in the grand scheme of things, but LG are also starting to run out of funds, so this could be a very big swing round right here. If LG were to lose this, it's a likely tie game, you'd have to imagine. So this is a big one here.
Hunter's Fury is ready for both sides. Baby Bay, overdrive at the ready. But no insinuations towards early aggression, at least not off of his initial position. Poison Cloud to block doors over through halls.
Ice is in front of it already, though.
Waiting to see if anyone's going to check over through double doors, and it's going to be a battle of Aldrones likely through mid here.
Yeah, Dicey was well in front of that orb placement, so
Yeah.
he's got a good angle here, playing from the one side. Meanwhile, LG, though, droning up through middle, clearing the close corners on double doors, getting a little bit of vision onto A side. Not getting crazy info, but at least creating a little bit of presence there. Definitely seem to be setting up for that A split right now. They also have their flank covered with utility through elbow that they've placed on the B side of the map. Just kind of, taking their time, waiting to see if FaZe is going to get them anything for free, but FaZe being very patient in their positions here. Dicey's still playing forward on A halls, by the way, at that orb. He's never wavered, and he's going to be rewarded.
I was about to say, the only way that this foiled for FaZe is if Tig thinks that maybe someone beat his timing and you force the Hunter's Fury into play. Dicey now, trying to get the Operator in play defensively from the backside, as the Hunter's Fury will also try to deter any offensive hits, but LG have avoided it and gotten on for a plant. Now it's on to FaZe. As you had mentioned, one of the best teams in North America for the retake. Has to be good here.
Indeed it does. Dicey has the Headhunter trying to push through A halls. Hunter's Fury coming through as well here from Dazzle, though, to slow this retake down. He has gotten a little bit of a tag there over towards Spawn, but Flya now sends those shock darts forward, and it's going to be unhinging these players off of Yellow. It's going to be the big thing.
Boys from the backside corner. No, it's a quick scope from B-Dog that connects to find the kill. Then the flash to help Mata secure his own elimination. No problem. Baby Bay has to go. Time becoming a huge problem. Dicey on the flank is just not here in time. And as Baby Bay falls, so also will the hopes of FaZe to try to get back for the retake. Dicey just trying to get out.
Yeah, it really all comes down to that battle on Yellow. Yeah, Dicey did a great job maintaining A halls the entire time for his team, so they could kind of just focus on the site itself. But when they try to split through doors and through Spawn to clear off these two players at Yellow, B-Dog hits a lights-out shot on the first challenge coming in from behind. And LG don't even fold a single player. I think they go 2 for 0 on that initial exchange over on Yellow position. So, I mean, that was so critical. And I mean, FaZe, I mean, if they don't win this, they do not have a whole lot of purchasing power on series point.
Yeah, it would have to be just hoping that Dicey can continue to find kills to build up a little bit of a big account to help his teammates purchase. So I agree with you. This is absolutely a must-win all of a sudden. It was a turning point round in the last one.
Absolutely.
The bank accounts and pockets looking good now for Luminosity for at least a couple of rounds, but FaZe backs up against the wall. Aldrum through double doors. Relay bolt to stop any extra peaks, and FaZe largely have dealt with the early kind of unorthodox hit here out of that Aldrone.
Yeah, Dicey holding on to Case. It's allowing a little bit more flexibility here for Baby Bay to kind of focus on these double doors and focus on assisting Poised and trying to defend the other fronts of the A side while Dicey kind of hold A solo. Mid control being held by LG for quite some time. Now looking to pivot their attention towards a B split, perhaps. 2 defenders there, though. It's going to be Flya and Superman, who are ready to go. They have plenty of utility at their disposal to kind of slow LG down, but no one's even close to rotating yet from FaZe through defensive spawn. So it's going to be all on them.
They avoid the recon completely, so now it's just going to have to be reactions out of FaZe. Well done to get a snake bite shock dart combination to stop the initial hit from the front, but look at the little lurk out of Dazzle. He's just walked his way forward on the backside. Oh, but a gunfight win from Flya! One more in front, and FaZe! Wake up when called upon! And how about Flya? One more maybe with the pistol? Sure, why not? And FaZe Clan hold!
Indeed, they do. Just holding everything off at A, and they had the players ready on B in case the strike would come that direction. A big missed opportunity there from Dazzle. Thought he had Flya completely dead to rights, but Flya able to respond. Then he combos with the Poison or the Superman to have the advantage in those duels coming through B main. Wins all those fights as well and ends it with the classic. Flya having a hell of a game at 23 frags now. Again, this guy was on the bench for most of the year. They brought him back just, what, maybe a month ago or so, and having to play that role for the team, and it's a big round.
Speed, name of the game. Oh, and it's a battle of knives versus electricity. And Baby Bait takes it care. Overdrive able to find first blood, and LG was just hoping that maybe there's a chance to get a couple of the knife kills to open the door, but none will happen here. And now you've got Baby Bait taking the lock.
Oh.
Wait, Marshall headshot will actually keep the play alive. Still a lot to be done here for Luminosity, not having really any weapons besides these two Marshals, but you're at least able to still fight in this round.
Yeah, they're kind of getting held off at the pass. Dicey now finds Moose, who was trying to sneak into A side, try to open up that side as an option. And that fake has kind of sold it. You're starting to see some positioning here from FaZe, and this is maybe opening a way to get back into B, but they're actually going to commit the double doors into the other side. Dicey, though, has remained here firm the entire time, and they will come together for nearly a flawless round, only losing one in the mix. So their economy has been pretty much recovered here for the home stretch of this map. LG still able to buy here, taking a timeout, and this is getting tense, man.
Oh, yeah.
Holy moly. Again, winner
so what's
of this
the call
match.
here, I think, is, you know, all of a sudden, FaZe has really wrecked a lot of these opening setups from Luminosity. As much as they've gotten the first two kind of, you know, set up as far as Luminosity's tempo is concerned, FaZe has had responses every single time, it feels like, in at least out of the last 4 rounds.
Yeah. I think that, you know, LG have the read now that this pivot has happened with Superman now playing more of the B anchor role with the Viper utility, so that could be something that you kind of use to your advantage over on the A side of the map if you're not feeling the Viper utility over there to try to create an opening. I mean, obviously you have B-Dog who can entry with Mata and kind of flash your way in there and make something happen, especially if you think you can kind of, like, use the owl drone to push off Dicey Sniper early and then kind of flash and dash your way into pyramids. Like, I think that could be an option. But there's always that chance that FaZe could change things up and go right back to Viper utility at A, and all of a sudden that plan could get foiled right before you even get to kick it off. So it's just all about trying to get a read early on where that utility is and where you feel like there might be an opening. But I mean, this is kind of, you know, again, LG running out of funds after this.
Sure.
So this is a big round.
Well, they've got an Null Command and a Viper's Pit to work with.
Dicey's
suppressed. Yeah. He's got to back up. So now it's down to the front door hit from Luminosity. Mata, can you use this in combination of an owl drone to get good information to stop FaZe from really just limiting your push at the front doors of caves? Patience coming through, though, because take a look at Moose. He's walked all the way up to halls. It's just a trademark keeping him safe and honest from this position, but he's in a great spot to stop this. But Dicey able to reposition. Gets 2 before having to back up, and he's not even out yet. Doesn't need to. Refocuses on the front. And Dicey locks things up 3 in a row. Looking for the 4th. It doesn't make a difference. FaZe Clan clean. And we're tied at 11.
Yeah, again, I think it's a little bit of a fumble there from LG. You're just dry peeking into Dicey's op. You know that he's on site. You read him with the 0 point early, but this owl drone, I mean, they're pushing him while the owl drone's virtually riddled useless. Like, it didn't get really the information they needed before they started swinging out. Like, I feel like they needed to, you know, either flash that common corner that a sniper would be at or have the owl drone go that direction initially to try to at least get the read and ops there to not peek into it dry. It just was easy pickings for Dicey. Yeah, anything, man. Like, it was just easy pickings for Dicey there, and credit to him for hitting his shots, but of course he's going to. He's been doing it all stage long. You got to unsettle him.
Well, owl drone with Mata actually making the play over towards A, trying to get the defense to rotate, as you were calling upon with LG's timeout, that FaZe have been prone to try to hit these rotational timings, but Dicey once again gonna have the opportunity to get one. A little bit extra damage to the Headhunter before rendezvousing away, and of course FaZe will very quickly understand the threat. But can they respond to it in time? Because Mata has got some timing through the mid-cross, but no.
Nice, boys.
Cannot convert the kill. Poise just ready in time. Spike now planted, and FaZe desperate, trying to hold down a 3v4. Pistols not gonna connect initially. B-Dog with the rifle shut down. Dazzle left to just the Marshal. Good for 2. Tries to reposition towards the backside of the B window. Has shock darts, recon bolts, Hunter's Furies to play with. Do the lineups work out for him? They're trying to spam him down. Both shock darts will get there no problem. Now the Hunter's Fury Can he delay this for long enough? No one's going to be able to push him off at this angle. It's just down to how much clock can he kill. There's the last of it. Marshall connects, and he gets the defuse. Oh my goodness.
That's a tough one if you're FaZe, man. You have a 2 versus 1. You know that he's got shock darts available more than likely. You know that he has his ult. Yeah, you're trying to play the bait game where you're trying to bait that utility out, but you're not pressuring him enough to force out those shock darts any earlier than he did. I mean, obviously that double with the Marshall is crazy enough, but I mean, Dazzle just played this to perfection. He timed out those shock darts perfectly. He timed out the peak right when he needed to, and he hit the shot that was required at the very end there. I mean, that is just a big-time play for LG to take map and serious point. But if you're FaZe, you're shaking your head because you feel like you needed to be able to pressure Dazzle better than that.
Tempo from Luminosity mid-map. Dicey ready for it with the tour de force. First blood tallied.
A big frag to keep FaZe in this, man. They need that to force overtime, that's for certain.
Yeah.
Dazzle unable to get the response at A right off the bat. So they'll have to just maintain man disadvantage here early as he fades back. Poise not giving him anything right now inside the site. Baby Bay guarding the door with the help of that fragment. Tig does get chipped away at. So LG don't really have a footing anywhere. FaZe have all their bases covered right now.
They would have to get lucky in this 50-50 check, and it's not going to work out. Yeah. You like overtime, Dust?
Why the hell not?
With how this series has gone? Come on.
I mean, with the elimination on the line, as tight as these games have been, it deserves some extra rounds to decide things. As Moose will drop that neural theft right now.
B-Dog's on site. They actually don't watch the front door. First shot misses from Dicey. He's out of the picture, but Poise gets the trade exactly as needed, and overtime will still be here. But boy, the Luminosity, for a second, you thought maybe they had a chance at the 2v4 just by getting onto site.
Yeah, they had the information, but knowing was half the battle. As we are going to see it all square, all the marbles. Who will remain in our Stage 2 playoffs and who will be exiting very early on. What a crazy map it's been so far.
B-Dog's going to go glass cannon here in this opening defense.
Yeah, you feel like with all the long sight lines on this map and how important snipers have been throughout the game, it's not surprising to see him come out with it. He's playing that top pyramid angle, something we saw Dicey do with the chamber. Will they think of it, though, in overtime with limited credits to spend? Like, will you expect this? Or is B-Dog going to get a freebie?
Well, they're only going to catch Dicey with that early 0 point. Aldrone aggressive for FaZe Clan, actually through B-Link. This is going to force the defense to have to rotate over to contest through mid. Aldrone to respond.
Will not see
Baby Bay. Yeah, this is huge as far as FaZe Clan's map positioning is concerned. But still, B-Dog hasn't been moved off of this position through Pyramid. So if this eventually comes back over to A, there's still a chance for him to use this unorthodox
position. He could get exposed
position.
through the doors. His teammate's not watching doors anymore. He could get shot in the side right now. This is crazy timing. Flash comes in. Now he gets stunned and pushed off by Baby Bay, and the entries come in for FaZe.
Dazzle looking to contest, but at range, doesn't love the look of the fight. Has to back off and wait for help. Still a ton of utility for the defensive Sova. Maybe catching one in the cross, but jumping out of sight is the full force of FaZe Clan. Fragmented to the corner. Dicey gonna just absolutely rendezvous out. No problems there. Flashing forward. Now, you've got the cage trying to keep it safe for the post plant. Not gonna work out. Mata good for one, but you saw it there for a second. Flyas on the long pitch coming from the double doors. And FaZe Clan have full control over this post plant situation, and they're on match point.
Flya started the flank right as Dazzle turned away from checking in at middle. But let's be honest, it comes down to the pure entries of FaZe to kick that round off. Yeah, B-Dog playing a very dangerous position that could catch FaZe off guard, but eventually they forced Tig to come off of double doors, which put B-Dog in a more exposed position playing top pyramid, and eventually he has to fall off because of the flash. Then he gets stunned by Baby Bay, gets spammed down through the fast lane, and it's that tag team duo of Dicey and Baby Bay. Again, two of the best players in NA when it comes to first blood success rate, both in the top 5 for that stat, and they both come through on that round right when they need it most.
Absolutely huge. So Luminosity trying to get us to another overtime. Have to get it done on the offensive side.
Yes, sir.
And the thing about it has been, again, they've been good at getting their initial setups on the attack. But when it comes to getting the full efficiency that you're looking for on executing, FaZe has done well to fight back in a couple of rounds. That's the kind of string together you see of a couple of rounds here or there. 4 out of 5 for FaZe defensively by the end of regulation to even get us to overtime in the first place. So what's the call here? Does B-Dog want to try to go operator again? No, not this time. Nothing weird on the offense. You just have to use your game plan. The playbook has to be here.
We're seeing Baby Bay come alive again. He was like 10-13 or 9-13 at one point. Now he's up to 17-18. Obviously just had a big round there, so they're getting him back in form right when they need it here as they approach the finish line. And he's looking to get aggressive here down middle, wasting no time. Poison Box's vision, but both players get flipped.
Intel.
Yeah, he knows that they're in front of him. Now he can just play the timing.
They're trying to beat the timing.
Oh, those relay bolts are huge.
Oh, they're so big. And now off the flank, it's Baby Bay for 2. LG looking to get risky by beating the timing of Baby Bay's aggression. But now it's Moose quite literally stuck in the corner. And FaZe Clan will move on in the elimination bracket with the Prime Gaming flawless in overtime.
My Baby Bay. We were talking about him in the pre-round about how he was coming alive, and he comes in full force that round, gets the read off the blip through the poison orb, stacks the relay bolts and double doors, and finds both players out in front of him for the Prime Gaming flawless to finish things off. And stopping these two guys never had a chance as Baby Bay mops them up with the help of Poised and Superman to boot as well on the site. And I mean, it was a neck-and-neck race through and through, but FaZe come out dominant in overtime to move on in the lower bracket.
There's some sort of poetic justice that FaZe Clan keep their run alive by using their stapled, if not established, aggression that we've come to know. So they will get it done in overtime in 3 maps. Another surprising and thrilling series for all intents and purposes, though. As we finish off the day, we send things to one last break for the desk to give us the full recap as we continue on in the North American Valorant playoffs. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
And welcome back to the analyst desk as we just watched FaZe close out a series. But just like their series from day one, it goes down to the wire.
It went all the way down. Honestly, I thought they could have been out of that without even the OT, right? Like allowing Dazzle to get that round where he wins on time with a double shock dart and the ult coming out as well. But at the end of it, FaZe were able to grind it back, and that's such an important win for them after failing to have that comeback, having that comeback happen against them yesterday.
And an incredibly important win, even to see them shake off what could have been the mental boom we see teams talking about after rounds like Dazzle picks up. FaZe says, no, we still got a little bit of that juice left in them, and they saved themselves pretty hard in the overall picture of things.
As we take a look at the Prime Gaming post-match highlights, you can see how things broke down across the series. We started things out on Split. It was not the same FaZe we saw yesterday on Split. It did not feel like they got off to that great start. Again, it was a 9-3 half yesterday. They ultimately lost that map regardless, but it was not that early success that we saw from FaZe yesterday.
Yeah, you know, Luminosity had a really successful attacking side on Split, comparative to like usually on this map where you're lucky to scrape out 3 rounds. Bada and B-Dog did a great job getting into sites a lot of the time, even though it can be a little bit harder for them. But of course, as we did move on to Fracture, FaZe Clan were able to do such a good job on their defensive half of things. Dropping out of the smokes, stopping the initial hits from coming in from Luminosity. They really were able to put a stop to what LG was trying to get done.
It was a little gross how you saw how FaZe had refined this composition, and LG, while using it, was still trying to work out the quirks. And then you move to Breeze, you get an even more punch-for-punch matchup where you're still getting these post plants. Rounds are squeaking in favor of each team as we go to overtime, and honestly, that Cypher composition, again, was holding FaZe off of being able to get around what LG was doing. They did finally find that open door.
Yeah, and I will say, like, I have to just shout out Baby Bay's ability on this Neon again.
Absolutely.
To get huge in, like, mid-combat concusses with that Q, right? I don't think I've seen any other Neon player get as much value on the fly. Like, he'll take a fight,
this
then
round
pull
right
out
here.
a concuss and get more. Here he's setting himself up, but he is so consistently able to find value with it. He is one of the best Neon players in the world, and it showed in that.
Yeah.
An incredible series from Baby Bay, a great series from FaZe as well. Even though it still goes down to the wire, they kept it exciting. I gotta give credit to LG for taking it to that map, but a disappointing end to their VCT Stage 2 run, as this did not go the way we thought. We thought they were going to be a high seed coming out of the groups. They ended up getting the 4 seed.
Yeah, it didn't work for them in the end, but they will still have a spot in LCQ. They got enough points, I believe, in Stage 1 as well as here to get themselves into that event, so their year doesn't end.
Well, we do have our Verizon post-match interview, so we will shove these guys out of frame as we welcome in Baby Bay following the big victory over LG here in the lower bracket. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you so much, man. Wasn't even close.
Wasn't even
close at all.
He says. I mean, 3 maps. You go down to the wire in the 3rd and final map. Are you at all playing that scenario from day 1 in your head where you're like, please, not again, a comeback? I can't handle this anymore.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I said in an interview in like one of the previous qualifiers, you know, I really truly feel any team could beat anybody right now. The competition is so close in NA, and anything can happen, like literally. So, you know, I felt like everybody feels like we should have beat 100 Thieves, but you know, it's small things can change an entire map. And if you're not winning pistol rounds and stuff like that, it gets kind of scary sometimes, you know. So yeah, but no, today we were confident. We knew that we weren't gonna get reverse swept or anything. Like, we watched our VODs over against 100 Thieves, and we were like, yeah, that's not gonna happen again, man. So, and here we are.
I mean, looking back to the early stages of the groups, this was one of the first teams you played. It was the 2nd match you had in the group stages. You suffered a close loss. 2 maps, 1 goes to overtime. Was there a nice amount of revenge coming into this one, knowing you had a very similar map pool to play in this series against LG?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely thought we were going to blow them out of the water. We didn't expect them to be that good on Split. We prepped pretty good against them, but, you know, Split is, we have like very little reps on it right now, and it's new to our map pool, I guess you could say, as you can tell, right? So, you know, we're figuring it out, but every time we play, we're getting better at it. So we definitely thought, you know, it was going to be a 2-0 win, but, you know, here we are.
Jumping in a time machine a little bit. Early on, we saw the Smeeg, the gameplay that made you somewhat notorious in the Valorant scene. Then you came back a few months later, you called it the sophisticated Smeeg. Is this the even more sophisticated Smeeg? We called it Sir Smeeg or even Lord Smeeg, potentially even a king of the Smeegs. Do you feel like you are now in a position that you are better positioned with FaZe to do what you've always done, but potentially at a higher level?
I mean, we definitely embrace the Schmeeg, especially, you know, with Neon being in meta right now. I think it just kind of enables my playstyle, and, you know, having the support and like IGLing and the players that I have now to support me doing this playstyle is fantastic, and it just goes to show, you know, like it wasn't a fluke. You know what I mean? My run that I had before, you know, we're still here making deep runs, and we just needed a good rebuild, you know, and here we are, and it feels good, and I'm really happy with my team right now.
I just have to ask, comparing the original Smeeg playing as the Jet to playing as Neon, which one do you actually like better? Do you like the old Jet style play, or do you like the Neon now more?
I'm not gonna lie, nothing will compare to old Jet being able to right-click 5 people in a row. You know what I mean? You like talk about that now, you kind of think that was kind of ridiculous, no? You know, so
yeah, right.
So I mean, that was like probably the most fun type of schmeeging you could do. Also, during that time, I had Corey on my team, and we would literally make the weirdest noises and just run it down, no strats. We had nothing. So that was definitely a very fun time. But now, you know, I definitely feel like this is a lot more viable and consistent than the other version of the Schmeeg. And Neon is great for her own plays, and I feel like I'm getting really good value out of her ult that players don't get right now. So yeah, trying to make the character look as good as I can right now.
Well, congratulations on the win. You guys definitely make it exciting. It's a lot of fun to watch. Wish you the best of luck moving forward.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
As we bring the analyst desk back in to unpack, I love the idea of the sophisticated Smeeg becoming more sophisticated. We said he's got like a monocle now,
yeah,
and a little top hat.
Just knight, the royal Smeeg.
He's got a cane. Maybe it's a nice cane. Maybe it's a farcical cane. I don't know. But the fact is, things are working with Baby Bay on Neon. And even though he goes back to the Jet days and he's like, I liked it a lot more, I kind of like watching him do what he does as Neon.
Hey, you know, it makes sense. Calming, actually setting up your teammates probably works out better than making noises and having no strats.
But who knew that making noises helps the strategy a little bit? No, looking at how they played it and what they've done, it's really cool to see that him saying, like, they're behind me. It's really awesome to know that utility is always there, that I can make these plays, that I can do these things, that they absolutely lock into that mentality that this is how we're going to move forward. The Schmeeg can be done, and we just have to facilitate Baby Bay to do it.
A few teams made mid-season or mid-stage roster moves, and I feel like theirs was the one that unlocked that next level of gameplay, as it's allowed them to bring Breach into the fold a little bit more with Flya.
Yeah.
And FaZe has definitely improved from week to week for sure. But as we take a look at the flick of the day, it's actually going to be from that series, but it's not going to be from the FaZe perspective, although you would expect it to be. This one's actually going to be from Tig, if I'm not mistaken, unless we switched it at the last minute, but it's Tig with the quick little flick and the 3K to close out the anti-eco against FaZe. I will say this is one of the few rounds of success for LG on the map.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, right? Because he keeps thinking someone's coming up towards the left side of dice and he readjusts. Then he goes back there, has to do it again. It's a quick back and forth right there, really getting the work done there as the heads come out from cover.
Yeah, this is the moment just before overheating. He managed to stay cool enough to make sure the play came in. And yeah, the way that they were able to get into position on Fracture, but for FaZe to find out how to destroy that from the defensive side. You're right, LG found those rounds, but FaZe was really able to capitalize overall.
Yeah, unfortunately, the rounds that LG found were just few and far between. Pretty sure you can count some of them on one hand. It just was not a good map. I was uninspired by LG there, but also it's because of how FaZe played in the series, and specifically on Fracture, they just shut them down every single time, and they will be moving on in the bracket as a result, and we can take a look at that playoff bracket here in just a minute so you can appreciate how things have shaped out already. We're 2 days down. We've got several more to go, but teams have unfortunately been sent home, and the most surprising of them has to be Ghost.
Yeah,
we thought they'd be here still.
Ender, I'm so sorry.
No, this one.
Sad.
I mean, I just legitimately believe that Ghost had one of the best chances to make a very deep run here for such a new team entering the league. I think it's been so impressive how we've seen brand new players, either rookie players in VCT or people that have been around for a while but haven't really had a chance to shine. They have come in and looked so good. In Stage 1, it was Guard. Stage 2, it was Ghost. Although after an early exit, I just hope that they're able to stick around as a team, because this team has so much potential that has yet to be activated, and it could be a while before we see them play in a big match again with them missing out on LCQ.
Yeah, that is a huge bummer. And then, of course, LG getting eliminated as well. A team that does have the opportunity to play in the LCQ, so unlike Ghost Gaming, we will see them again in the near future. There's still a chance for them to make it to an international tournament, which they have yet to do with this roster. But Ghost is frustrating because we thought this would be the team that could actually stand a chance at that international level of play because of how they work as a team. But we've still got other teams left in the bracket that can do the same thing, and they'll be facing off tomorrow in those upper bracket matches.
Yeah, and we've got 100 Thieves versus XSET, and then we have the rematch.
Let's
Evil
go.
Geniuses. They just kicked out Ghost. Now they get a chance to repeat and get a win against Optic. So I'm really looking forward to that.
And Optic's going to be real hungry for that matchup, right? Coming out, they were the strongest, and
Absolutely.
EG took it away from them on that map, 2-0. So strong. You got to expect more specific counter-strikes coming from EG, but I want to see what Optic brings to the table for that.
The craziest thing about the bracket is that the upper seeds, the #1 seeds, are playing in a rematch against the teams that beat them but didn't get the higher seed.
Yes.
So you have a 100 Thieves team who beat XSET in the group stages, but XSET gets the #1 seed, and you have an Optic team who gets the #1 seed but lost to EG. And it's an EG that has been so incredibly good. Every time we come in kind of expecting them to play well, but maybe not as good as they do, they surprise us every single time.
Yeah, we sort of dubbed them like the nerdiest team in Valorant, always coming up with things on the fly, really cool interactions they've been able to find. They showed us some of that yesterday with interesting like Sage Walls, Jet Boosts over on Icebox. They love to play, so I'm hoping that's in the pool tomorrow against Optic.
Well, that does wrap things up for us today. Again, we will be live tomorrow with our upper bracket semifinals. The winners will be moving on into the upper bracket finals, one step closer to Copenhagen. Same time, same place. You won't want to miss it. We'll see you then.
I'm in the end zone. Where did he go? You way too slow, homie. I been gone. I know you see, I got the rings, homie. I been flown. Me and the team going for rings. That is the end goal. Hey, I go beast mode. All on the world like Eco. I go crazy like CeeLo. Can't stop me like Chico's. I'm suave like Rico. Can't be mine no repo. This my home like Depot.